What's happening? What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Roundtable. Man, y'all know what it is, man. This is our second episode. If you missed the first one, you missed a treat. We was live for the very first time on 54 Keys channel. And man, did y'all show up and show out. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody, man. I'm glad y'all stopped through to hang out with us tonight. We got a great presentation for y'all. I don't call it a show because we put in work. We put in work. This is a presentation. You feel me? Shout out to my people in the building. We got Latasha Evans, Marley 13, Shamina. What's going on, Miss Wright? How y'all doing? Carol Smith is in the building. Nosy Bud, Cole Pepsi, Kimberly Wilson. How y'all doing? Is that back? Bro Hacker 456. What's going on, fam? We got custom designs in the building. What's happening? What's happening? Dar Jackson. I want to give a big shout out to Dar Jackson, man, for coming over, sliding through on one of my lives, man. Sent over by 54 Keys. I appreciate it. That's what this is about, man. We family now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got who they rock with, but we family. So I appreciate you for sliding through. Appreciate that for real. We got Miss Lorraine in the building. We got two Lorraines in the building. We got the Lioness and we got the other Lorraine. So I appreciate both of y'all for coming through. Who else we got in here? Crucial K's in the building. My guy. What's good, fam? Carissa White is in the building. Thank you for sliding through. Ray Sean, keep it 100 is in the building. And my big sister, Miss Now Oracle, is in the building. Always showing love as always. Appreciate you. Now, I am going live from both of my pages. I'm going live from Bossman Blake's page and my Community Crime Network page. So make sure you subscribe to both of them. If you're more into crime, then subscribe to the crime. But if you like music as well, subscribe to my music page. It's greatly appreciated. And again, I just want to reiterate my gratitude, man, for reaching 6K just recently. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed to my channel, both of my channels. It's all love over here, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I'm glad y'all all came through, from the people from John Page, from the people from 54 Keys, and of course my family is near and dear to my heart. Got Double Rainbows in the building. Miss Pamela Fields. I think I done hit on pretty much everybody that spoke so far. If I haven't spoke, hey, everybody in the chat. There you go. I don't like leaving nobody out. But tonight, we going over one of the biggest, most confusing, I think, something that was used to deflect us from the truth. And that's the timestamps. Timeline. That's one of the most important things when it comes to any case that you working or you looking into. We need to know when and what time it happened. That's really important. And I feel like there's a lot of people when it comes to the Kenneka Jenkins case. They between the fence of that, her getting off the elevator at what, 224 and then 325. But we know what they presented us in the news in the very beginning, which was the 224 timestamp. So just to see, get a feel of the room, put a 1 in the chat if you rocking with that 224 time frame. Put a 2 in the chat if you rocking with the 325 time frame. I just want to see where we at. If you know about this case. If not, just pay attention. You'll see what we're talking about in just a minute. And while I wait for y'all to do that, because we finna crank up in a minute, just want to throw this out there off rep. It's like my sis say, this is a safe environment. My moms already know. Any BS, this is your warning right now. I don't give second warnings because this is a family environment, and we only here for one reason, and that's justice. All right, so we got some ones in the chat, so it look like we got a few already who's going with that 2 o'clock time. Kimberly D say she's going with that 224. Marley 13 going with the 224. The Kid Speaks going with the 224. Shaka B say, look, Pimpin', I'm unsure. I respect that 100%. 100%. You know, I'm the one who chose my side, which y'all will figure out in a few. But, you know, talking to my folk, John and 54, I'm never closed-minded, so they got me like, you might got a point there. But, yeah, so let me go ahead and throw this up here real quick. Let me get it out the way before I forget. I don't know problems with YouTube. Y'all know how YouTube is. It's a copyright disclaimer. And we finna get to the business. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Y'all know what time it is? Man? It's time to get to the business. So without further ado, welcome to the Roundtable. Now, it wouldn't be a roundtable unless I had my folk here with me. So, a lot of y'all know who's a part of the roundtable. A lot of y'all may. This might be your first time. So, I want to introduce y'all to my people. First person I want to bring up, y'all know been rocking with me for years, man. This dude is one solid brother that always stayed the same. Always had my back. He got the voice of radio. I call him the Godfather. He been working several cases. Started with Kenneka. He's worked on Summer Wells. He's been working on the Uvalde case, the Buffalo shoot, the brothers, Orson and Orrin. I can go on and on and on. And one thing about this dude, man, it's the facts. That's what he focused on. It's not about this is what I think. Yeah, we all have our opinions on every case, but he's not gonna push no bullshit on you or nothing that he thinks. If you don't know, he go search for the answer. This guy right here, I call him my big brother. Without further ado, I want to welcome Mr. John Q.
All right. Brother
going
Boss
on, my
Blake,
brother?
how are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. You know,
That's good. Good evening
episode.
to the chat. My goodness.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
holding us down tonight.
They in the building.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us here tonight for a special roundtable. Session 2. Promise, we're not going to disappoint you. And thank you for the accolades and compliment Mr. Boss Blake for your participation in everything that you do. And I'm just so happy that we're able to collaborate in a session pertaining to the Kenneka Jenkins case, case which now today marks 5 years since September 8th, 9th, and 10th has been an anniversary mark following this case from its conception. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Boss Blake, for having me.
No doubt, man. Hey, I appreciate you. All right. So I know a lot of people here because I see how large the chat's starting to grow. This next person I want to bring up, she really was the mastermind, you know what I'm saying, of us doing what we're doing right now. She came to me. It started, just like she told y'all, business. I did an intro for her. And it's all uphill from there. She hit me up wanting to do this roundtable. John tried this before. Back in the day, it got a little messy.
I did. I had that same concept of pulling people together, content creators that were working the case at that time, and a number of them came through. You came through. Corinne Harris came through. Malika the Warrior came through. We had a host of folks that did show up and did come together to a degree before a lot of other things happened, which kind of broke that idea apart.
Absolutely. But y'all know this woman. She probably one of the biggest when it comes to the J4K community. Probably one of the biggest followers, if you ask me. Loyal followers. You can see them all throughout the chat. Talking about this lady, she focuses on the timeline. That's one thing she taught me all about.
Yeah, the details. Tying the details together. Yep.
Real. So, this is my new big sister, man. Got a lot of love for her. I'm happy to be a part of this with her, of course, with John as well. So, man, y'all better show your love. I'm going to call her legendary 54 Keys.
Hey, what's going on, my good people? We riding, baby.
We riding, baby.
Yes, it's gonna be good times tonight, and I'm glad to be here. It's been a long week. I've gone back and forth with these guys for days now, so y'all gonna see, y'all gonna see a little bit of it. Yeah, no, but I think we needed to focus on the timeline. The timeline was very important, and that was something that a lot of us are still. I'm looking in the chat. We're still on opposite sides of the fence about this timeline. And I agree with some of the people in here, and like I said, I went back and forth with these guys, but it was mature, grown conversation. And just like the first round table, this round table is no different. It's for the grown and the mature. So, long as there's respect, we good in here.
Most definitely. So y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we rocking. We start from the beginning. So we're gonna start with the 7th.
Yes.
And we decided to start with the 7th because that's important. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna go with the timeline, we need to start at the beginning. So we're gonna start with Miss Watkins and the young brother. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Who came up with her? And we're just gonna show y'all some footage, and then we'll go into our commentary, or we can talk about it because there ain't no volume on it. So let me bring that up real quick. If y'all want to go ahead and jump into it and break down what we're going to talk about, feel free to do so. Let me share my screen.
What's going on, Double Rainbows? I see you, baby. You be riding.
And we got a lot of folks up in here tonight. My goodness.
Shaka
Much love
B.
to you. Much love to everyone.
That ass in here. Okay. Cold Pepsi. Okay then.
Yeah.
RJ is up in here too.
Oh
What up,
yeah.
RJ? All right. So this is from the 7th. And of course, like I said, this is Miss Watkins, her and the guy who actually booked the room. Now, we Key, let's talk about first before I even hit play
Mm-hmm.
about the booking of the room and checking in, and
Yes.
what stood out to you when it comes to especially how they got the key. You know what I'm saying? Because at first, a lot of people thought they was just reserving this room.
Right. Right. So I think for me, it had a lot to do with the credit card. They had issue with the credit card. So then it was like they left, came back. But like as you can see, oh well, you just took it off the screen.
My
But yeah,
fault, my
as
fault.
you can see, they're up there. And for the longest time, I thought they were reserving the room. I
Right,
mean, but clearly this girl had issue with the credit card.
absolutely. So the fact that we feel like they actually just checked in that day is because when you look at the folios,
Yes, the folio.
which we'll get into that in a few,
Mm-hmm.
the room was booked for the 7th through the 9th.
Yes.
So if you had questions on how did either Irene or Killer get the key, is because they actually checked in that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Had
John?
to.
Right.
Had to.
Yep.
So
Had to.
most definitely, most definitely. And John, you want to talk about, the issues they were having, because what we're looking at now, this is the second person that Miss Watkins actually had spoken with at the front desk. What
Yeah.
happened with the first one?
That's correct. There was a female working behind the counter here, and when Miss Watkins and her party showed up the first time, uh, she was having an issue with clearing the credit card that was given to the girl to swipe and manually book the room. And she stood there for several minutes doing the same activity, trying to get this room cleared with the card. And so, since she was having an issue, she was, I guess, having a discussion with Miss Watkins and her party in regards to the card declining. According to the detail report on this, which is part of the case file, the card declined at least 4 to 5 times during the time she was behind the counter. Okay. And taking such a long time to clear a room, I'm sure that, the female behind the reservation desk uh, kind of felt some kind of way about it. So she did contact immediately this gentleman that we see before us over to her portion of the counter, told him what the issue was. She couldn't clear the card, swiping the card, decline, swiping the card, decline. Um, and this gentleman here, second reservation clerk, stepped in and said, let me see, what he can do and find out what the issue is. So he steps in and then begins interacting with Shanika Watkins um, in this engagement of trying to book the room. If you watch his hands carefully in this short clip, you'll see him begin to operate trying to identify who she is. Now, how he identified her was through a driver's license, according to the report.
And then let me stop you right there, John, because
Mhm.
you know, I've always told people, that I have hospitality in my background, right? And so I
Yes,
think one of the things that bothered me about this because um, it was said that she used a stolen credit card, but when you check in, just from my own experience, when you check in, the name on your ID should match the name on the card.
it
How
should.
how
Correct.
was she able to use a different card? Was her name on the card? I mean, it it just never sat right with me. I never understood how she was able to pull this off.
Right. I agree. I agree. What he's doing, I guess his major concern is to try to get the room booked. He's more profit oriented, if you will. You can take someone's debit card or credit card, go to a gas station, and your name is on the card, but the person that's using it, they never ID in some cases.
That
And a
made no
lot of it,
sense to me.
yeah, and a lot of identity theft happens just like that. Just like that. Long ago, at least 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you'd
And
have
then
to
wait,
sign the back of the card with your signature.
right.
And
I was
whatever you wrote down on the ticket as your signature, they would verify it based on the signature on the card. They don't do that anymore.
right. And I just wanted to point out, I didn't mean to interrupt you, John. I
Okay.
wanted to point out, you see him hand her keys. If
Yes,
you notice in this footage right here, he handed her the keys. And again, like I said, if it's a stolen credit card, how in the world was she able to use that and the ID didn't match? Or did it? That's the question.
that is a good question because the room got booked.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
this
she
guy,
actually
man,
checked in. She actually checked in. And
yes, she
this is
did.
one of them things that I didn't focus on until now. But she actually checked in because you see, he handed her the keys before she walked away. He
Right.
put them, they put them in them little sleeves, you
Right.
know. So she got the keys when she left.
Yes, she did.
That's one thing that we may never find the answer to, because we don't know. Now they say this is what she do, so she got to
Right.
have some type of system or something to make this work. If that's not the case, then of course you would look at Rosemont, Crown Plaza, as suspect. Like, y'all really tried to focus on making this work for them.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
Because if it doesn't match, why are you taking this? If you having issues, why are you taking this? And they go back.
right.
I think they left right and came back with another card.
Yeah. And that's when she was able to check in. And I'm with Tangi. She said that was the first crime committed in this whole case. And it
Yeah,
was.
right
It
here.
was.
Yeah. Because as you saw moments ago, he swiped that card twice. The decline did come up, and now he's manually
Manually.
punching in the
Absolutely.
numbers on the keypad, setting in the date, expiration date, security code,
They
and
forced
then
this.
lo and behold, the card goes through and the room is booked.
Yes. He forced it. It was forced, you
Now,
know?
now my question is, and we don't have any proof. We'll get to 924 a little later. But do you think they tried online first? Because to me, if you know this is a fraudulent card,
Right.
you gonna come in here and show your face on camera? You know what I'm saying? So, but I thought about it a little deeper. It's like, okay, if you book it
See?
online, you still have to come to that front desk, right?
Yes. You still have to check in. See,
Right.
That's
whether
right.
you book it online, you can sit in the parking lot and book it, but you still have to check in. And again, at the end of that video, he hands her room keys. She left with them.
That's right. Yeah, right there.
Hmm.
That's the room keys right there.
Right. And I never really focused on that detail until now because I could never understand how when Irene and them got there, and I know we'll get to that, but y'all know how I am. Y'all should leave that now. But I didn't understand how Irene never stopped at the front desk.
Absolutely.
They had the keys when they got there.
They had the keys. So that at that point, that lets you know they just checked in.
Yes.
There wasn't no reservation. They checked in.
Checked in. Yes.
God, you want to bring up the documents? Or you think we need to bring those documents up that you discussed earlier, or we can keep it pushing? There you go.
Okay. Now, according to the case file report that was made to Rosemont Public Safety, you see here, this information was entered on the 18th by this detective Roshenfek. These were the two counter people working the desk. On the top here, at 17:30, the female counter clerk was interviewed. There's a tenant at the Crown Plaza located at Rosemont, Illinois, stated she was scheduled for work on 9/8/17 throughout these hours here. Sometime during her shift, she remembers two subjects walking up to the front desk asking about possible available rooms. She stated that one could have possibly been a transgender, and the other was a female, black, wearing a Walmart uniform. She stated that they were looking to book a room for 2 nights. She stated that they provided a New Jersey driver's license, that the photo on the driver's license matched the female wearing the Walmart uniform.
Okay, and let me stop you right there.
Okay.
So Shaniqua Watkins, because somebody had asked in the chat, who is she? That was Shaniqua Watkins. And so what they're telling us right here is that her picture was on his New Jersey driver's license.
Driver's license. Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't my issue. My issue was the credit card, the card that she used. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, good point. Good point, because we're about to close up on the next paragraph. She stated that she reserved a room for them 2 nights and entered the name and address from the New Jersey license plate blank that they provided her with. When they swiped the card for payment, it was declined. She stated that they used a different card, and that was also declined. She stated that since both cards declined, she could not provide them with the key cards to the room. She stated that they will be back with a different means of payment and left. 18:20 hours, same day. Attendant number 2. The male clerk at the desk. He was interviewed. Same part, same place, same date, same hours. Sometime during his shift, he remembers the two subjects walking up to the front desk asking him for 2 rooms. He stated when the 2 females, black, walked up to the desk acquiring about the rooms, blank told him she already made reservations for them under blank, a name, and they left due to their cards being declined.
Right. So what that tells me is when she was with the lady, even though the card was declining, they went on and made the reservation to hold it.
Right.
They went to help to hold the room. Okay.
Correct. And they were going to come back with a different means of payment. Now it picks up here. He stated that he brought up the reservation and the two female blacks provided him with a New Jersey driver's license. He verified the name on the driver's license matched the name under the reservation. Once the name was verified, the 2 female blacks, this wording kills me, swiped a card and the payment went through. And he provided them with a key card to room 926.
Mm-hmm.
Both the front desk employees stated that if they saw the 2 individuals again, they would be able to identify them. Nothing further. This was
Sure
taken.
they would. Sure they would.
Yeah, by Detective Rushenfek on the 18th during the time of this interview, police report number 55.
Now, Double Rainbows had a good question. She wanted to know if Shaniqua was underage. And from my understanding, she was not.
She was not.
She was old enough to book that room.
Absolutely.
So they did follow that. Okay. They followed that. But the whole credit card, and I mean, I'm sure her name didn't match the credit card. Sure did.
Let's see.
Right. It was just the driver's license. According to the document, it was just a driver's license verification check along with the hotel reservation name.
That's it.
Nothing about the card. Nothing about the card. So it tells us something about how the Crown Plaza clears or had cleared that room for this particular occasion.
Right. And then the fact that we know she checked in, that she actually checked into the room when I did that video going over the key lock, no one entered 926 on the 7th.
On the 7th, correct.
So they booked it on the 7th, but no one stayed there on the 7th, according to the key log report.
Right.
Absolutely. All right. So now, when we're focusing on the timestamp, me personally, I like to pull up the documents, look at the case file, see what the statements say, and then compare it to the footage.
Yes.
So, what I did was, I went into the case file and got a lot of the documents, or the statements, I should say, from, some of the main party goers, and just compared the times that they stated, whatever happened, and then compare it to what we see. So I'm gonna pull up some of these statements. Anyone y'all would like to start with first?
Irene,
Irene.
because she got there first.
I'm rocking with you. All right, so I'm gonna pull up Irene's statement and we'll go over that. Give me a second.
Cole Pepsi said, so what was the other room that they booked? That I'm
Mm,
gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure because he only gave her one set of keys. She only got one set of keys.
right. And a lot of people do feel like,
Yep.
they got multiple rooms. You feel what I'm saying? But
And
we don't
here's
have proof of that.
right. Now, here's the thing, and y'all know where I'm at with this. I believe that there was more rooms, but I don't believe they were booked by Shaniqua. I mean, I'm quite sure some of y'all have been young before. I've been to hotel parties and I ended up getting my own room, or staying with somebody else who got a room because nobody wanted to drive drunk. Hotel
Right.
party lit, I don't want to drive. So we might as well stay. So I do believe that there was multiple rooms, but in that footage that we watched of Shaniqua, she only received one set of keys.
Right. All right. So I'm gonna read a little from the document, and let me make it a little bigger, just make sure y'all can see it. Of course, we know. Irene said she got there approximately 11. What was it? 10 o'clock
Yes,
on the
10.
8th. Of course, we all know who she arrived with because we can actually see that on the footage. All right, so I ain't gonna get to that yet. I'm gonna hold on. Excuse me. So prior to arriving, the hotel, Irene stated, this is what we want to go over as well. Of course, we know about the drugs because we can see that clearly that she was on something in her life. But she stated that she left the hotel approximately 10:30. We can confirm that. You know what I'm saying? On the line. Even though it may be a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? She stated that she returned approximately about 11 o'clock.
Right.
John, by any chance, you got that footage on hand?
Yeah, she said she had to go get some swishers.
Right.
She left and came back.
Right. Absolutely.
And then another thing to take note of is the fact that on the key log report, we have the first entry into room 926 at 10:44.
Right. So her saying she got there at 10:30. Of course, like I said, she was on X pills. So her memory could be a little bit foggy, but there's certain
Of course it
things
was.
that she do remember. But it's like patchy.
Everything was fuzzy. Yeah,
Right,
it was a little
right.
fuzzy,
So we can confirm that she was there around 10:30, 10:44. So Now, why do I stop there and talk about that? Is because if you go at the 2 o'clock time, and we gonna look at it both ways now. I ain't trying to get y'all to ride with me because I'm with the 3 o'clock time. So if if she got there around 10:44, 10:30 ish, that can be confirmed.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I'm saying? And we can look at the key log or whatever, but it's right there on the footage. Right there on the footage.
It was.
So we definitely want to, put that out there as far as Irene's statement goes. She stated shortly after Kenneka them arrived, she started a Facebook Live approximately 1 o'clock. Now we know that ain't true. Why? Because Kenneka them got there at 1:13, so that live had to start after that, correct?
I mean, see, now you know where I'm at with this. Now, because I'm believing that she got there before that.
Right.
I do.
Right.
I feel that, and especially when you look at the text that Kenneka sent, like I'm ready to go. It was like 7 minutes after they supposedly got there. But we'll touch on a couple more things, and I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I feel like she got there earlier than 1. I do.
So 54 is at 12 o'clock. John, what you think, bro?
What about the people in the chat? Who riding with the 113? Yeah, who riding with the 113, man?
Yeah, Taisha Murphy says she with you, 54. She with you.
Yeah.
Now
we'll cover some things, and it just makes sense to me, But hey, that's my opinion.
Now Tangi, she believes that Irene was there since the 6th. Now the room, we do have confirmation that the room was booked or paid for on the 7th. John, just remember you on mute too, just in case you didn't know, John.
And so when you think about, and that goes back to that ticket that was dated the 6th. What we clearly saw on this footage was that the rooms wasn't booked and paid for until the 7th.
The 7th.
I feel like that's a detail you can't overlook that.
Right.
Absolutely. April say 12 o'clock.
I'm with you, April. I'm riding with you, baby. I'm riding with you, baby.
Because the receipt, I'm just going to step back just almost a second from where we are right now.
That's fine.
And if I can just share.
Go right ahead, my brother.
This image here. The receipt we have from the Crown Plaza under the booking of the room. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I can go ahead and blow it up a little bit.
Yeah, blow it up. There you go.
Yeah, looks good.
All right. Because we got some folks saying that there were multiple rooms booked under the credit card. This is a folio that belongs, obviously, to the Crown Plaza. We have it here. The folio number. The room number, 926. Date of arrival, 9/7. Departure, 9/9/17. Room charge on the 7th was $119.01. The room tax on the 7th, $16.66. Room charge for the 8th, $119.01. Room tax on the 8th, the same, $16.66. The Visa card was used. The total amount was $250. There was nothing under miscellaneous other than a few charges here under $50. All the charges are here. And it comes to a full balance of $321.34.
And the fact that you see a zero balance, that means that card went through.
That card cleared, correct?
Yeah, it cleared. And so when looking at the folio, and I know we all, we kind of went back and forth about this, but I never understood why they split the payments up. I've done night audit. Why split the payments up? You had one for 250 and then one for 7134. Then they added 50. Like it was just this right here just was a mess to me.
Yeah. So this is the invoice that that the card charged. It's part of the case file under room 926 on the 7th, and departure date the 9th. We go to the next issue here, blow it up. Under this folio, the number, once again, room 926, 7th through the 9th. And of course, this was generated on the 12th of September, given to the Rosemont Police Department. And then we have here some adjustments.
Yes. And it's only okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say it was only because whoever this card belonged to then disputed the charges.
Correct.
They disputed those charges. And so they zeroed it out.
Right. That's what this document proves. Yeah. I wanted folks to know that the person whose card they used, it's just not like disappeared into thin air. There were adjustments to take those charges off the room during the time that they had found out that these were illegal charges done on a credit card.
Right.
Correct.
9/9, 9/10, all the way through for these 2 days. These were charged back to the customer. And let me see which document this is.
Yep, and that was double charges. That was a double rate that they absolutely.
Correct. I wanted to make sure everyone understands the invoice folio that was used to generate information based on this credit card and the time of its usage, the amount that was used on the card, and then the charge back to the customer or the account that it came from. So they did comply with an illegal usage of a credit card to secure room 926. I'll go back up it here so everyone can see. It was specific to room 926.
Yes.
Wanted to make that clear so everyone can understand that. Thank you, boss.
No problem. Now is a question in the chat, and this is pretty much why we're doing this. I think it came from Shamina. She said, "Weren't the times all messed up on the footage?" I want to show y'all just in case y'all never seen this particular footage, because we know if you look at this footage and maybe somebody changed the format, it's only going to show you one of the clocks. There were actually two clocks on a couple of the cameras, and this was one of them.
Yes.
So I definitely want to show you guys this so you can understand why we have a hard time when it comes to going with the 12 o'clock time when they arrive, or the 12:13 time, or the 1:13 time. So as you can see here, we see them arriving. On the right-hand side, you see 1:13. The left-hand side, that's 12, which it says 12:12. So this is what caused a lot of confusions, especially when the first news article came out and it said, you can see Kenneka getting off the elevator here at 2:24, and she roamed the hallways for over an hour. Now, does that make sense? Did she really roam the halls for a whole hour? Hell no. Hell.
Right. And then let me tell you something while we're here.
Okay.
Like you said, we had the two timestamps. We had the one on the left, the one on the right. And one of the issues that I took with this is when we did the last roundtable and we discussed the tickets. Kaki, which we all saw him come up and get a ticket. Kaki, he made a post saying that he left at about 3 o'clock. The left-hand time is what matched his statement, not the right. So my thing is, how can it be we matching it up with the left hand time, and then we ran with this 113 on the right as far as Kenneka and them arriving. Like it just didn't make sense. Like I feel like the timeline should have added up to everything on the left if that was the case,
Right.
Right.
but it didn't. And that's why it was like we were all over the place.
And when it comes to that, he did say that he left around 3, and you see the footage at the front desk when he's trying to get the ticket or whatever. It was 256 on the left hand side and 356. But at
Absolutely.
the same time, we know what Irene said, and these are two different people. So I don't know the state of mind he was in, but she said she left 5-6 o'clock, and we know that ain't true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that didn't add up. So we like, did he have the time right? What time he left? I don't know. He could have. If he knew what time he left, and he's 100% sure he left at 3 o'clock, then that's a problem. Because now that changes everything. Now we're going with the left clock now.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So to see Kenneka coming in and us using that right hand time of 113, I mean, how? You know what I mean? How?
Right.
It's like certain things we were saying we were going with the right, and then there's other things you're going with the left, and that's what, to me, what caused the confusion. We didn't know which time to follow.
Absolutely. So what I want to do now, if this thing won't stop hourglass. What I want to do is actually just go back to the time that they left Miss Teresa home. You feel what I'm saying? That definitely give you an idea, because they didn't go to the party. You know what I'm saying? But everybody said who had something to do with Miss Teresa's house said they left 11:30. Now,
because Kenneka supposedly got her hair done, so we heard we got that 11:30 from Lenore because she said she did her hair.
Yep, and actually Monifa said it in her statement as well, which we can pull that up in a second. She said they left around 11:30. So we know. Matter of fact, let's just pull that up. Let's just do that. That makes more sense.
Double rainbows, yeah, I'm with you on that. Was the confusion purposely done to confuse? Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's in our face. Yeah.
And they accomplished that. Look at us.
Yeah.
5 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
They did what they set out to do, and that was to confuse the masses and divide us. The time divided us. Know that.
Yep. That's man, you hit it right on the head.
Exactly. And according to the last live, the very first one we did together, this was very specific in regards to understanding how they did it. And it goes right back to the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, on this case as to the law that was, available to the Crown Plaza and the attorneys of the village of Rosemont as to what they deemed necessary for public consumption, and how they were able to put together the case file that they posted on the public safety website.
Correct.
And so that document, that FOIA request, tells you exactly what they did. And the one word that is a key word to this whole case going public is the word redaction, or the word redacted, something past tense, something we did to make this information public. We had to blur out faces. We had to change certain details and items, not only on the video surveillance footage, on the entire case file. The entire case file had been scanned for redaction for public consumption or public information, sensitive against in regards to the Privacy Act. And this is what they did. It protects those that are involved in the case, not giving out sensitive information, being that they would be held liable if they did so, hence the reason they're in court, civil court today. But yet at the same time fulfill what the Freedom of Information Act is all about, and that is any persons or entities could request information on a case based upon reporting, commentary, whatever, just like we do when tonight with Mr. Boss Blake putting up a Copyright Act disclaimer. That is what they use as their disclaimer, Freedom of Information Act.
And one of the things that I want to point out as far as these statements go, that's just like in this one right here. It says the follow is a summary of the interview. You see this a lot in the statements, where they're like, hey, look, this is not word for word. This is it's not verbatim. So all we had was somebody summarizing what someone else said.
Correct.
So, I mean,
it is not a court statement. It is not a testimony of a witness, because in that case you would have a recorded or someone who is a stenographer taking the statement of a witness pertaining to a case, and that witness must sign off on an original legal statement, word for word. Here you have a narrative, which is individual officers or paired together receiving a narrative statement from the people that they interview. These are non-custodial interviews, informal.
Right.
Tell me what you saw. Tell me who you were with. What time did you get there? Okay, when did you leave? Did you see anything suspicious? And et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
But the problem is with doing that, you can mix up the details.
Correct.
That's the problem.
Because you're relying on one individual to interpret what the other individual was saying.
Absolutely.
Correct.
What was said. And I got a problem with that.
I have a problem with it too.
I got a problem with that, because we've seen some errors in these reports that they failed to correct.
Correct.
And it threw everybody off.
Right. It leaves room for bias.
I think they use it to their advantage.
Yes,
they did.
But I got this statement up here, which is a Monifa's statement, and I just want to go over this. And we're going to go to the time of Cocky in just a second, because I definitely want to point that out for those who don't know the time that he actually arrived, and we can show you the time that actually shows on the right. And it says 4, but the left, it says 2. 3.
Yeah.
But right here it says Irene stated that she and Kenneka had, this is Monifa, I'm sorry. Monifa stated that her and Kenneka had planned to go to the movies on September 8th. Now, we all know this. However, she stated Kenneka changed her mind and wanted to go to the hotel party. All right, so I'm going to skip down here and go to the time. She stated that she and Kenneka left Kenneka's residence approximately 11:30 on the 8th.
Now, approximately, let me stop you right there, boss.
Right.
That
one word.
I know 54 keys with that. Wait, let me stop you right there. Approximately is not exact.
Right.
So everyone knows that. This is not an exact time. It could have been 11:15. It could have been 11:20. Could have been 11:10.
Yeah.
So this is just an approximate time being given to the officer that is responsible for writing this narrative. So they're going to round off to the closest time that was told to them. So 11:30 is just an approximate, not an exact.
So let me stop you right there and let me ask you this. So which I understand, that's exactly what it means.
Yeah.
But Leonora said the same thing. Teresa said the same thing. And I'm pretty sure Shamaya said the same thing. I can't remember her statements right off the bat. But if every last one of them said around 11:30, what other time are you going to go with?
Correct.
It's approximately with this statement. I'm pretty sure they use that with every statement. But, I mean, They would have said if it was closer to 10:30. Don't you think they would have said approximately 10:30? Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I do. I feel that.
All right. Now, excuse me, I had to eat some of this pork chop.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But we know that they got there at 1:13 or 12:13. I'm not gonna just stick with my time. But if they left her house at 11:30, they had to make several different stops. Of course, they had to get the Bluetooth speaker. They had to go get the weed,
Yeah.
the X pill, and the liquor. Now she had to go pick up 2 other people as well. So you think they got there in 43 minutes? If we sticking with and this is just my argument, if we sticking with the 12:13 time, let me hear from you. What y'all think?
I mean, my thing is this: when you look at that word approximately, like we just discussed, that could have been 11. We don't know. We don't know what time they left out. Let's just say that we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. But they did make several stops, according to them.
Correct.
Correct.
But here's the thing. Like I said, these statements are not verbatim. So like we discussed before, none of these kids came out and said, I didn't say that, or we didn't do that. We haven't heard any of them go against these statements.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that, if it was my statement and I'm seeing something wrong in it, I probably would have came out publicly like, look, I didn't do that. I didn't say that.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
They didn't do any of that.
Right.
So this is what we were left with.
Correct. All right. So I think that's y'all see anything else y'all want to touch on before I go to the next?
That $200 fee. I'm still on these tickets, man. I'm still on those tickets.
All right.
And it
So
said
you
that,
go ahead and touch on it. Go ahead.
yeah, it said that when they arrived at the hotel, Kenneka called, I'm assuming Irene, and asked where to park. Irene told Kenneka to park in the back and charge the parking to the room. Kenneka was worried if this didn't work, she would have to pay $200 because the parking sign at the hotel stated there was a $200 fee for a lost ticket. But my thing is this, then why didn't, I mean, it sounded like to me like she didn't get a ticket. So I'm assuming when we look at how the gates work, and we assume that you pull up to the gate, you hit a button, it spit out a ticket. It seems to me that there was an option there,
right,
where you could charge it to the room. So is that why some people didn't have tickets? You understand what I'm saying? Like, because why would you be worried about a $200 fee if you have the ticket? But Irene, clearly in this statement, they said that Irene told them to charge it to the room. So outside somewhere at this parking gate, you have the option to charge it to the room.
Absolutely.
Right, that would make sense.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. That's the only thing that would make sense to me.
And like I said, that could explain why some people didn't have tickets. They charged it to the room, so they didn't get a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this sounded like to me.
Let's see. So Tangi said it was said they stopped and got a bottle, but that wasn't proven. Didn't they get Didn't they actually go up there to the liquor store to Rosemont Pizza and interview?
Yep, they did.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I want to try to listen to everybody and what they feel happened or some information they have.
Mr. Jackie Dragon's here.
Jackie Dragon
in the building.
What's
Mr.
going on,
Jackie Dragon?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
So, Mr. Jackie Dragon, so he said, no, charging to the room comes after. You still need the ticket to get through the gate. That's what I would think. But how is Kenneka worried about a $200 lost ticket fee? That means she doesn't have a ticket. So it just made me wonder, like, well, is there an option at the gate where you could charge it to the room where you don't need a ticket? And then what we saw in Jackie Dragon, we actually played your video at the last roundtable about the tickets. and you did a wonderful job with that. Let
Yes.
me
Yes,
stop
he
and say
did.
that. You did a
Absolutely.
beautiful job with that. And what we saw was some people walked up to the desk and handed over nothing, but got a ticket to
And
leave.
got a ticket, a
I couldn't
redemption
explain
ticket
it.
to leave the parking lot. Yep.
Yeah, we couldn't explain that. Some people did turn in a ticket and received another ticket in return, but some people did not. And it's like, how do we explain that?
We got hot chocolate left a comment stating it only takes 30 minutes to get to the west side of Chicago to Rosemont. If they left approximately at 11 to 11:30, they could have made it at 12:15 after
All
making
right,
stop.
with you, hot chocolate.
Right.
Riding with you, baby. Yeah.
Like they had to, okay, you had to pick up two people for one, and then you had to, now you got it. I don't know where they got the Bluetooth speaker. I don't know if they went to a Walgreens or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because
You
that was
went and got
never clear. Because
for
for
real.
the longest I thought it was Walmart. So I don't even know. Okay. I don't even know. Lady Goddess in the building. I see you, baby.
And I don't know where, the vicinity of Chicago that, Shemaya live or Bree live compared. Was it on their way to Rosemont?
And it could have been. It
You
could
know
have
what I'm
been.
saying?
That's why I'm saying, I think, and this was one of them things why people was like, oh, well, nah, they had to get there at 113 because of everything that they supposedly done in between, but we don't know where everything sat,
Right.
you know? So, you know.
Well, this is the time I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. This is the time we actually see, I believe, Cocky them start to leave, if I'm not mistaken. 2:56. No, this one should
Yeah,
start.
it was 250. Well, if we looking at just this lobby, it's only one time on it. You know what I mean? It's only one time on the map.
All right, so let me go up a little bit closer to 3:56 because that's the right hand side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The left hand time is what said that he was getting his ticket at. There you go.
And
See?
there's the group right there.
And this is the discrepancy because if we're looking at the lobby footage, of course, we're only looking at one time, which says 3:56 or 3:55. So we're like, oh, they left at about 4 o'clock. But in his statement, in Kaki's statement, he said that he left at 3. But on that front desk footage, we saw a time on the left and a time on the right. The one on the left is what matched his statement.
Cocky's statement. Right.
Right.
Yep.
See, all this right here, it's too much. You understand what I'm saying? They mess with the time.
So, and it's just, I like what you say, 54, when you say you always listen to everybody's opinion,
Absolutely.
because what they presented to us, you can understand why people are so confused or why they go with what they go with, because they threw so many damn curveballs in this
Right.
damn case. So I respect that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't say one person is wrong. You can't. All because of the timeline.
Correct.
You just can't. And that's why I respect everybody's opinion because they're using certain details to come to the conclusion that they've come to.
Right.
And this is just one of those details. And like we see him come back in, go back up to the desk. But when we played Jackie Dragon's video in the last roundtable, we saw that this is not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to Kaki's statement.
According to his statement, correct. Yep.
Say Mr. Jackie Dragon say he don't do lies. He just in the chat. But y'all just, I mean, but one of the things that I need y'all to understand is that he's very instrumental in this roundtable.
Yes, he is.
He has a lot of respect from everybody up here.
Yes.
And we was behind the scenes fooling with him, messing with Jackie Dragon. But I mean, smart guy,
Did a
Very
fantastic job covering a lot of the video surveillance footage, tracking killer, what time Mike and that group came in. I mean, extraordinary, tracking the police, a lot of different meaty details to really take a look at, because a lot of the questions that we had, he had.
Yes.
Right.
And vice versa. And to try to even close that gap on what could have possibly happened here, we all have to remember that we are looking at, all of us since they released this file, all of us are taking a look at something that was copied by the hotel and given time to copy by the Rosemont Police Department, because it took over at least near 72 hours until Rosemont actually got this footage from the hotel, long enough for any kind of manipulation, tampering, editing, in accordance with the FOIA request that was made, clearing all this stuff to go public.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then y'all showed that one girl, Real Gwen, she just because white girl, man, he, she, whatever it is y'all want to call her, she bothers me. Okay. I'm just saying, this girl knows something about something. I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to that, man.
This is actually this is Bree's statement. And of course, as you can see right here, I'm gonna skip all the other stuff that really not going on what we're talking about. You see approximately 1 o'clock on the 9th. And as you can see all the stuff she said they did prior and also leading up to the parking ticket. You know what I'm saying? She says the same exact thing. So, only reason I focus on it is because we trying to get to the bottom of this time.
Right.
And let's we can even talk about Leonora. Now, you remember what Leonora said in that news interview, right? She was like, so it had to be the 3 o'clock time, not the 2 o'clock time. Y'all remember that, right?
All right.
She was looking like, hold on, this ain't making sense, because she was going by that 2 o'clock time too. So, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they presented us.
Absolutely.
So if her sister got damn confused, then shit, I can understand why y'all are too, or we all
Right.
are.
And then we have to go back to the word approximately. She said approximately 1. That could be 12:30 as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes we got a habit of rounding up time, not that kind of thing. But again, even and let me just say this. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
When they first got there, what we see on the footage, when again going back to the last roundtable about them tickets, y'all know I can't let them tickets go. I can't. And one of the things that bothered me was the fact that Bree went to the desk to see about the tickets, but she wasn't the driver. If Kenneka is the driver, that's like if I show up somewhere with y'all and I'm worried about a $200 lost parking ticket fee, this, that, and the other, I'm going to see about that.
Right. Who do you think
Kenneka
should
didn't.
go? Right.
Absolutely. Kenneka didn't. Bree went to see about the tickets. That
right
bothers
after
me.
they got there.
Soon as they got there.
They got there. That's right.
Immediately. She went to see about the ticket. And then it made me wonder, and y'all know I brought this up before. It's almost like was the plan for her to leave the hotel that night? Because I feel like, again, she should have been the one saying about that ticket. She should have been the one we seen at the front desk.
Right.
Clearly in the statements, they just said she was worried about it. Then why wouldn't she go check on that? Bree went.
That's correct.
She certainly did.
And I got a problem with that.
And I do too.
And it could have been a friend thing, like, well, girl, yeah, I go see y'all gone up to the room, I got it, type of thing. But really, and then for Bree to be the one we seeing going in and out, leaving, gone an hour, what was the plan? Like, I just feel like there was something in the mix at that very moment.
There's a lot going on with Bree too.
Yeah, and she's the least spoke of when you think about that whole crew.
Bree said nothing. She didn't say nothing. She didn't say shit. You hear me?
Hey, but the crazy thing about that is she's the only one who did that in the MTV special.
Sure did.
So that I don't know if that means anything, but
we definitely saw what happened right after that special was aired. Regarding Irene, regarding Monifa,
right,
and then regarding Shemaya, because all three of them went live, whether from Snapchat or whatever a social media platform they went live, and they were very voicey about what had occurred that night.
Right.
This is what I did. This is what I did. This is what I did. You took your friend out of the room, then came back and then told me you lost her. How do you lose a physical person?
Absolutely.
Is what Irene came back with.
And you see them all at the desk. Like I said, I just didn't understand why Bree took the initiative to see about the tickets.
Take a look at that comment on screen. I ain't never see that. Did you ever hear about this?
No. I just seen the one where he said he left at 3.
Okay.
Because he's getting a ticket. Well, it's 2 different times on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I seen the one where he said he left at 3. Not that he got there at 3.
Yeah, we know he didn't get there at 3.
Right. And if you got the one where he got there at 3, please send it to us.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Please
I
send
want
it
to
to
see
us.
it.
Yeah.
So we can clear this up.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Jackie Dragon. Yeah, if you can do that, I would definitely love to see that. So we can clear it up.
Because that would help tighten up the timeline based upon the statements that the police department put out regarding what was said to them. Because hence we have a matter of interpretation by the police.
Absolutely.
To go on. I mean, that's what the narrative reports are all about.
Yeah. And Lady Goddess just asked, do y'all think the reports are scripted? That's the problem. They can be. I think that's my conclusion, just for the simple fact they're saying they're not verbatim. So it ain't like we're getting a live interview. We're actually hearing their voice making this statement. We got one person summing up what somebody else has said.
Right.
And we're human. And we're gonna get to it because there's a couple things in these reports that is incorrect, but they were never corrected.
Right. Correct. Yeah. And when you're trying to use language to define one specific conclusion, which this is an accident, the language kind of flows in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the language must flow in that direction in order to give the overall idea, yeah, this was an accident.
Absolutely.
By anyone who reads any documents or takes a look at any pictures or looks at video surveillance footage, this could most likely be an accident. It gives you that pause to say that, and yet deemingly so, because the hotel has a higher liability if it's a murder or homicide at the hotel than it is an accident. It's a higher liability when it comes to covering yourself insurance-wise.
And here's my thing. If we feel like the footage have been altered in any way, time skips, there's a lot going on in this footage. So if we believe that the video has been altered, why wouldn't they alter the statements to go with the narrative? If I'm going to do one, I can't fix one and not fix the other.
Or you can write the narrative based upon the alteration of the video.
Absolutely.
Vice versa.
Yep. So so we got to be careful with the whole file. The whole file.
Yeah, the whole file. That's right. Good point. Because that's why we're carefully revisiting this whole case and scanning everything carefully, taking our time and doing, obviously background work, conferences, to really take a look at some of the things that we may have overlooked when we first started covering the case. And I'm talking about all three of us.
Right.
And finding different things that we didn't see before. Right. I guarantee you, you're about to see certain things tonight that it's going to be a brain twister.
I brought this up. I stopped here and brought this up because I seen, I believe it was April, who had she left a comment in the chat, and I think it was this one right here. Said then Leonora said she saw on the Facebook Live Kenneka went to the door and we don't see that on the footage. So I want to bring this up and show you what she's talking about. And I did mute this because we know we done heard this a million times, but I just want to bring up what she's talking about because you're not the only person who said that. A lot of people say she ain't walked to that door. Well, from what I saw, it looked like she was headed that way. Right here, I think. Let's see. Yep. Take a look at Kenneka right now. What is she doing? Doesn't it look like? Now I'm not being funny. Doesn't it look like she's walking towards the door? Now, going back to the security guard statement, he said when he went here, it was a girl opened the door. Do you think it was Kenneka, or was it? Because I believe this door was open before she got to it. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong.
That I'm not sure.
But of course, they took the camera down so we couldn't see what she did or how far she walked. But she did look like she was headed towards that door.
She did. If we believe that's her right there, she did. She did. I got a problem with these lives, but but if we're assuming that that's her, then it looks like she's going toward the door.
Right. Now I'm only going back here because y'all know how I am. When which you probably won't be able to see it here, but I looked at Ty's sister watch when she was rubbing her hair. And y'all probably won't be able to see it here, but just by looking at that watch, it said 2:45. Now, I don't know if they that damn good where they can alter the way.
See, that's what I'm saying, boss. I don't know, man, because I forgot. I can't think of the name right now. Who did the video? And I think I covered it in one of mine where they zoomed in on this watch and it said 12:55. I'm just saying. Yes.
Well, that would be insane. Because,
yeah, it would.
They said in Irene's statement, she said, that the party was chill, around 1:13, 1:20. You know what I'm saying? 12:55. If that was 12:55, this shit look lit.
Yeah, I got to say
absolutely.
That. And then they just mentioned about security being at the door. Now, understand this: we're talking about a hotel party, but based off of the reports, they told us that they went up there at 12:30 and at 2:30. Remember?
Right.
I mean, security. So who she's opening the door for or whatever, we don't know, because we are talking about a party. There's people coming and going, and we're gonna get into some other things, but there's people coming and going. But as far as security, we had 2 times. We had the 12:30 and we had 2:30.
Right.
The noise
this looks more like the 2:30 time.
But my thing is this: then what would be the noise complaint at 12:30? If she's telling us the party ain't got lit till about 1:30, 2 o'clock, what the hell they doing up there at 12:30? What's the noise complaint at 12:30?
Right.
Now, this what Smiley stated was what she heard was, damn, they back again. That's her
statement. That is her statement. Yeah.
So she assumed that they already came there once before.
Absolutely.
Right. And I understand why she would say that. But matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull this statement right here real quick, which is the security guard statement. He gave us the time that he went up there. He gave us 2 times, which I cannot find that second interview. If you got it, 54 Keys, it'll be great.
The second interview for who?
The security guard. Yeah. If you got it. If not, that's cool. No big deal. But what he stated in his statement, he arrived. Matter of fact, I ain't even got it on the screen. Let me add it to the screen.
I got you, boss.
You got me? Okay, great. Appreciate it, bro. All right. So his statement stated that during the evening between 1 and 2, He's not sure exactly what time it was, but he stated he received a noise complaint coming from room 926. All right, so my assumption is that's the 2 o'clock time. But he also was told to go check up there again after Kenneka went missing. Because, of course, we know, the front desk called. I guess they got a complaint about people roaming the halls and knocking on doors or whatnot.
Right.
And he sent the security guard up there. He said the security guard, when he got up there, he saw 3 girls walking the hallways, knocking on doors.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So he went to the door, and of course they informed him of what was going on. He said, "I'll go look for her," which we don't ever see that shit. But that was the second time. So those were the 2 times that we know for a fact that he came to the door. Did he come there 3 times?
And now, boss, what time was the second time, according to this document here, is that now?
Now we know this time he giving some bullshit, but let's go through. It said he stated 2 hours later. He's talking about 2 hours from the first time that he mentioned up here, which is the 2 o'clock time.
Okay.
It's when he went to the 9th floor. 2 hours later, so we say 2:30-ish. Let's say it had to be 4:30. Of course, he said 2 hours later. He didn't use approximately, which we know their time should be documented somewhere when they get some type of complaint.
Right.
So being that approximately is not used here, can we say 100% that he's telling the exact time?
See, that's what I'm saying. I got a problem with the whole 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
All this approximate and all these dashes. I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that. But when you go to the noise complaints, so if he's saying that in this statement, then the noise complaint that they got at about 12:30, he didn't go up there? Or is this between the hours of 1 and 2? You understand what I'm saying? Like, again, they fooled us with the time.
He got to work what time?
It's a lot of time right there.
He got to work at what, 11 o'clock, 11:30?
He said his shift started at 11.
Yeah, we're going to have to look and see what the hell he was doing around 12, I guess.
Because his statement, the second statement that he made, are you looking at the 18th statement? If you go back up top.
Oh, okay, my fault. Let me go back up here.
That's okay.
9:16 is when it was entered.
9:16. If you find the 9:18 interview under his narrative, you'll find out something else about how he changed his mind.
I thought you said you had it. My fault, because I don't have that one on this computer.
All right. Okay. Let me search for it.
All right. If you don't.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm looking for it.
Yeah, because it's a very short one where he told the officer that he was going to be going out of the country.
Yeah,
right.
He was leaving September 22nd from that time, which was a few days later, all of a sudden.
Right.
All of a sudden. They had interviewed him based upon if there was an incident at the hotel, would they write it up an incident report? And his reply was, only if it's a big deal. Only if it's a big deal. They said, well, give us an example of what a big deal is. And he couldn't give them an example of a big deal.
He couldn't.
So I'm looking at his duties that night were so lackadaisical.
He was real laxed. Yeah.
Because he almost like he wasn't damn a security guard.
Right.
Security guard, when they go on, they punch in and they have what is called as a DAR, Daily Activity Report. Anything that they are too secure, routine rounds, front desk policies, and all this other stuff, they are recording hour to hour to hour to hour, their shift of their duties, what they checked, what was normal, what was out of the ordinary, etc., etc. Anyone that has done security in this chat room knows what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever done security work in this chat.
And here's the thing,
It's vital. It's vital to liability.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to record incidents.
Correct.
It's like the security guard where I work, it was like they had this checklist where they have to check the floors, make sure the doors are locked, make sure this is put
Correct.
up. They have a checklist. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's vital. It's vital
the
to
incidents
your
should have been
employer.
reported
Mm-hmm.
and recorded. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's why the police was asking the security guard, like, well, why you ain't report this? They're seeing all of the like violations, if that makes sense.
Right, absolutely.
They're seeing it.
What
So
bothers
they're
me.
asking the security guard, why didn't you? And he was like, well, it wasn't a big deal. They was like, well, shit, nigga, what you think is a big deal? You got kids up here smoking, they drinking, I mean, they everywhere, probably in the hallways. We know they in the hallways. This a party we talking about. You got all these noise complaints. Come on, man. Like the police, in my opinion, was asking, why didn't you handle this sooner?
Correct. Yeah. And that's what the second report clears based upon their second time interviewing him, and when you read that short report, you shake your head. Were you actually security that night? And we had a couple of 1s in the chat. Thank you for responding to that, because that is a security personnel's job. Anytime they move away from their post and they are on a routine round, they are checking specific areas according to policy that the hotel wants them to check. Exits, doorways,
absolutely,
kitchens, back restaurant areas, whatever you have on your establishment that they want secured, that's what you do.
Yep. And then, like for Fire Mama, she said, why is security doing housekeeping duties? Now here's the thing, and this is just coming from my own personal experience. Where there was a security guard there overnight with me. And trust me when I tell you, I had his ass he was doing all kinds of shit. Go give me something to drink, go put my food in the microwave, go take the towels up to the 9th floor. I was running it. And you have to understand too, I look at it like they're responsible for checking the floors, walking the floors, like John said, exits, things like that. That gave him an opportunity to do that. Go warm my food up. I know when you go past there, check the pool while you're at it. It's just how we ran the security guard. It wasn't like he couldn't do that. And I think for me, that's why when I seen him on the footage and we seen him taking towels and things like that, that part didn't bother me. It didn't bother me because I've done it. I've seen it done.
Let me ask you this, 54, because me and John had talked about this a while ago when it comes to the lawsuit. Now, shouldn't eyes be on that footage or the cameras at all time? Because if he's doing all this running and he's helping people do other jobs, that should be a problem. So let me ask this then: if that's not the case, how is they? Because I believe that's one of the entities that she's suing, right? That security company, right?
Yes.
So that makes me wonder, what is she suing them for? Because I thought they were being held responsible for not paying attention to the goddamn footage.
I think, and this is just my opinion, when they were asked, because in the statement, I believe, I'm thinking it was Monifa, but they said that they was asking them to check the cameras, and they didn't do that. So I think that's where they fall liable, if that makes sense. But prior to that,
up right there.
Right. Prior to that, though, like I said, I've worked overnight with a security guard. And like Veen said, and this is what I was trying to get people to understand, during this third shift hour, night auditing hours, there's hardly any employees there. Y'all, I felt like some people was coming at me like you had a full-blown staff between 11 and 7. And that's not the case.
Right.
That's not the case. You had your night auditor at the front because that's what he's called. He's the night auditor. You may have maybe like 1 or 2 people housekeeping because they're preparing for in the morning checkouts.
Correct.
They're washing and folding towels and things like that. But in security, there's not a lot of people there. So if you're going to get anything off at a hotel, it's best to do it third shift.
Right.
This was perfect.
It's
Perfect
the
timing.
slowest time. It's the slowest time of their business day because the guests are, in the hotel or outside doing their thing. The hotel is very slow, and check-in, check-out time is usually during the midday.
Yep.
They're
Let me
close
tell
to
you something.
11, 12 o'clock.
From my own personal experience, I feel like things started to shift around about 5:30. And I'm gonna tell you why, because now you got, especially if you have a restaurant in there, you got your chefs coming in. You got some housekeeping starts. Some housekeepers had staggering shifts. It wasn't just an 8 to 5. You might have one housekeeper come in because you may have early checkouts. Like these people sitting down here right now, they leaving. So when you have somebody come in as early as 5:36, they can start checking these rooms. They can start cleaning these rooms.
Right.
So around about 5:30 is when you start to see more staff. And that's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. And viewed that way, you can get to see exactly what the a skeletal shift, if you can call it that, more so at night than you would have during the early morning hours
Mhm.
into the afternoon. It begins to slow down in the evening, somewhere after 12.
Right.
And you don't have that many people moving about, checking in, checking out, so to speak.
Right. You don't.
So
Especially
you
if
have
you're at an airport,
a
you
smaller
know?
amount of people handling security, the front
Right.
desk, maintenance, et cetera, because it's a slower period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lisa, that's crazy that you actually put that statement up here because this is the time I was actually bringing up.
Yeah.
And the statement
Yeah.
Lisa
actually,
owned it. Lisa be riding, baby.
when he actually, left the his post, and this is the time. Here it is, right here. This is the time. This ain't the time he put on his jacket, but this is the time he was supposedly going to hand out folios. Now, if y'all are familiar with the time, let's think. Where was Kenneka at right now? She was down there in the lower level by the bathrooms.
She about
If
to
I'm not
walk in
mistaken.
that upstairs kitchen.
It's getting close. Yeah, I think this is where she I think came from that by the water fountain and was getting ready to come back, I believe.
Yeah,
This is what bothered me
she's
because
down there. Mm-hmm.
right, we know what time she supposedly walked into the goddamn freezer. This is the time he left. He got back 30 minutes later. He is not accounted for, but what he told us in his statement that he was handing out folios. But did he? Because
Right.
after
Right.
his folios, I believe that's when he received the call to go up to 926.
Yeah, because it
Right.
was never mentioned in his narrative how many folios did he hand out that
Right.
specific time.
And then Jackie Dragon, he asked a question. He said, "Why do hotels hand out folios?" And me and Boss and them, I had to school them a little bit in the background,
Sure
okay,
can do that.
about
Sure.
these folios because I did night audit for years while I was in school. So with the folios, the only people that get folios are the people that are checking out. So have you ever stayed in a hotel and you woke up and like a folio was under your door because they know you're leaving? And so because people start leaving at 4 or 5, depending on they may be catching a flight out, whatever. The folios usually I used to try to deliver mine before about 4 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, it's only going to the people that are checking out for the day.
Yep. Yep.
So so when you go back to the folio, now I'm thinking about it. If you go back to the folio and the folio for 926 was the room was only booked from the 9th, from the 7th through the 9th. That means when he went to pass out folios, room 926 would have been one of them
Right.
because they're due to check out.
Yeah, because we
'Cause
showed
again,
that in the previous moments ago into the live. What a
now,
folio looks like.
now,
Mhm.
absolutely. Now, Jackie Dragon, some people come to the front desk. Let's say they didn't get their folios. Let's say it was a night, I was there by myself, whatever. I can't leave the desk. Nobody got folios. So everybody got to come to the desk to get one. But here we have some hotels that slide those folios under your door. And I feel like that's what you see the security guard doing at one point? He's passing out the folios. And again, the only people that get them is the people that are due to check out that day. And
Yeah.
what we do know, based off of the folio in the file, room 926 was due to check out that day.
And according to just the word folio, it ain't nothing more, nothing less than a bill.
Yeah.
It's a bill
Absolutely.
to the
What you
customer
owe.
that has booked the room. Okay, here's your receipt that you can take downstairs when you check out. If there were
Right.
any amenities used, such as sodas or alcoholic beverages in the room, room service, and all this other stuff, that would be recorded separately from the booking of the room in and of itself, and any amenities that were used in the room.
Right.
So a folio is used just to give a customer an approximate amount of, okay, your hotel stay is just about coming to a close. Here's your bill. This
Yep,
is what
that's
you
it.
can expect us
Incidentals,
to charge you.
absolutely.
Right.
Everything that was, that's just like when we seen people, you can get some hotels have the marketplace where you can put chips on the room, soda, wine, that kind of thing. And when you put it on the room, that's what's on the bill. When you
That's
get the
what's on the
bill, it's,
bill.
it's
Correct.
called incidentals.
Yep.
And then not only that, and this goes back to what we were talking about as far as those kids in the room smoking and this, that, and the other. Some hotels, I know for a fact, have smoking policies. And if it's a non-smoking room and you're smoking in there, it's like a $250 incidental fee. They were allowed to do things that was not normal in that hotel room. Period.
Now, you remember, and I don't know if I have that. I think I got it, but I want to share this because we talked about this last night, and I'm still trying to figure this out. You remember when we saw Kenneka, not Kenneka, but Shamaya and Monifa right here? I remember that. Now, where did we also see them at around the same time?
Oh, yeah.
In the south, I think, what was it, the Southwest Hall?
Yes.
So,
hitting the food court.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting here like, how are they right here? And
at
then
this particular time, on this particular camera, and
coming up from the basement.
Correct.
So the times, that's why I feel like this is done to throw us off. It's crazy. John, you had something you wanted to put up here? I see you had a document.
Cameras. All right.
I'll take mine down.
See if I wanted to refresh everyone's memory. Wow.
Jackie said, how did they know when anyone checked out of room 926? They wouldn't have known unless the keys were returned or when housekeeping make their rounds, because now they're going to go to room 926 because they're on their list of checkouts.
Right.
So that room was going to be touched regardless.
Yeah, because they had a designated time and a cutoff time.
Absolutely.
9:26.
And some people are, will bring their keys to the desk. Like, look, I'm checking out of this room. There go my key.
Yes.
And you check out the system.
And then there are some that'll put it in their pocket, walk out. They know what time they're leaving, and that's it.
I'm telling you, I stayed with some hotel keys. Like, damn it, I forgot to give them back that key.
Yeah, I ain't never turning no damn key.
Just leave. But if you're due to check out, housekeeping gonna touch that room anyway. You're on the list of checkouts. They gotta clean it.
Right. RS drill. All of them don't do folios. You're right.
Don't do folios meaning what? You don't get a bill?
No, like April said, some people, hotel staff, they put the folios up under the door.
Yeah.
I've never got one.
Yeah, we used to do that. We used to do that. But if you don't get it under your door, you do have to come to the front desk to get one. But we used to pass them out.
Yeah. Because when I did conferences, handling foreclosure prevention conferences. They would send us out to national neighborhood training conferences all over the country. We'd have to go fly in, book a hotel, and when your time got close to the time you're about to check out, a folio would be slipped under your door in the wee hours of the morning. This way, when you woke up, you had that to take to the front desk, so you'd have a receipt.
Right. And you
This
didn't
is what your room is being booked for, and if there's anything else, according to the front desk that you spent, it's going to be added on that's separate from that folio, just that point, at just that point. Yeah.
Those folios were for people who didn't want to stop by the front desk.
Yeah.
They just want to go on about their business. I do it all the time.
Mhm.
You understand what I mean? That's why it's almost like I then collected some keys. Like, you just leave with the keys.
So it's good to remember that when you hear the word folios in the Kenneka Jenkins case, it's no more than a hotel bill. It's being billed to the room, and the customer receiving a copy of the folio. Now, in this case, they had security delivering folios, bills to the rooms that were about to close out for the next day.
And
That's
then let
all
me
it is. That's all it is.
and then let me give you one more detail, especially about those key cards from the hotel. One more detail is that once those cards, let's say once checkout, because see, when we give you the keys up front, we've programmed it for your stay. Anything outside of that key is not going to work. You understand what I'm saying? That key's not going to work.
Correct.
If you were due to check out on the 9th, we know checkout time is at 11. After that key's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right. So this statement right here, I believe this is Wayne's statement, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to bring this one up. Of course,
IRS, we good, baby.
No, you're doing
Much
good,
love
man.
to you.
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah.
so the
I like
time,
participation.
and of course, matter of fact, let me just ask this question. Everybody know that it was stated in a statement, definitely this one, that they was playing or they was shooting dice. It says near the room entrance door. How many of y'all believe they were shooting dice outside of the door or inside where the party was happening? So give me a 1 if you feel like it was inside. 2 if it was outside. I want to know what y'all think about this.
Yeah, buddy.
Last night.
Yep.
1 inside, 2 outside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
IRS said outside. Okay. Double Rainbow said inside. I mean, those rooms are, and this is my issue. The rooms are so small. I just can't see them being inside trying to shoot some dice. You know what I mean? Like, the rooms are not that big.
Right. And I tell you what, boss, before you get to going into this document, let's bring up Ty's Live, which was the second live that was released on Facebook, giving us more of the number of partygoers that were there. Play it through without sound and let everyone count.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
Let everyone count how many people they see in their minds, and then we can re-ask the question. Can you play dice inside the room, or would you be dice outside the room?
Anthony made
good
a good
point, boss.
Anthony made a good point too.
Yeah.
He said inside because they were smoking. Would they be smoking in the hallways? I mean,
hell no.
I mean, you know, that makes sense to me.
They could have been. They could have been. But watch the number of people you see in this room right now, partying, singing,
lit.
jumping up and down, and play it all the way through. Play it all the way through, boss.
All right.
I'm thinking about playing dice. This room is hot. This room got people moving. They're shoulder to shoulder.
Everybody talking, you know, hot breath. It's hot in there.
You damn right it is.
They rapping and singing and everything.
all over the place, in front of the door, in front of the bathroom, all on the beds. Play it all the way through till you see the shoes side by side.
Nosy Bug said thugs do what they want. I feel you on that one.
That's
Especially if they know the room ain't in my name, That's
yeah,
cool. I can do whatever I want to do in
it's
here.
a free room.
I'll tear
Somebody
this
else
room
got
up.
it.
Man. I'll
That's
tear this
right.
room up, go about my business.
Hey, that's why I was like that. Front desk clerk, he was giving them what they want. Just get the hell up out of here, man. Shit.
Shoot, at one point they said the front desk guy told him to put a towel over take the smoke detector down or put something over it, didn't he? They was promoting the smoking.
Yep.
I mean, that's what that sounds like to me.
Because every time Ty lifts his camera, he gives us the full impression, at least of how many people are where they are in the room.
So I just paused it right there for a reason. As you can see, there's
Nobody
nobody
at the doorway. Nobody
Right.
at the doorway. Nobody at the doorway shooting dice here.
And then my thing is this: I'm gonna take y'all one step further.
Mm-hmm.
When they was talking about they was shooting dice by the door, are they talking about room 926? Y'all know where I'm at with this. I mean, they said by the door. They ain't say what door.
Let's get it.
But being that we're looking at 926 right now and taking a full look at who's there and how many people could be in that room, are in that room.
True Crime said too loud to be outside. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
Yep. But then for all we know, that's where them noise complaints came from.
That's where the
There's
front
brothers
desk got
outside
the
in the
phone
hallway
call.
shooting dice.
Right. That's where the front desk could have gotten that phone call.
That's what I think, April. Lisa Love says she thinks that the security guard was intimidated by these guys.
He was. I think front
I
desk.
think so too.
Doubt it.
I mean, but come on now, y'all. Let's be real. Let's not, act like we, when they see a lot of us gather, you know what I mean? And it's only one of him. Or even two, because remember, P said it was two, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. But he's outnumbered by us. And sometimes, when we gather, and when I say we, I'm saying my black people, when we gather, y'all know how it looked to some.
There was somebody sitting down right there too. On the floor.
So one thing Ty did give us is a very good idea of how crowded this room is.
Right, Anthony.
With the exception,
and Ty's at the door.
Yeah, he's right there at the door where the bathroom is, with the exception of Smack, Hollywood, X, Sticks, Wayne, and Cocky.
My brother YJ actually brought up a good point as well. He said, when you playing dice, you're not going to be in no space like that. You're going to be
hell no.
Right.
On the patio or something.
See?
Off to the side, right? But think about it. If you playing dice by the door, I'm assuming they hitting the door, and there's people walking in and out. To me, that don't make sense.
We're talking about a party. It's a party.
Yeah. You're looking for a group of guys snapping their fingers every time they release the dice. Pop!
It's a lot going on.
Whatever the number is that they're after. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
but nothing there in Ty's Live indicating that someone was inside playing dice near the door.
And see, that takes us into when Kenneka came up missing with the whole walking through the dice. They said they was walking through the dice game.
And this is the statement. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and read that. So
yeah,
while
get to that.
Wayne stated that there was approximately 20-25 people. It was chill. He further stated that the music was playing, security knocked at the door, blah, blah, blah. Keep it down. Let's see, I'll get to that part I'm looking for. He advised that he saw Jenkins, I'm assuming this is Monifa, and Shamaya leave the hotel room together, but could not recall the time. He had been playing dice near the room entrance at the time.
Mm.
He quickly stated after they left, blank and blank came inside, which that's Monifa.
The room what?
The room entrance.
Say it again.
Entrance. So you saying when they walk?
That sounds like it's outside.
Right.
Entrance into the room goes outside and not inside. So there was some fellas outside doing this activity, and you nailed it right there.
And then I think, and then for me, what stood out in this portion of his statement was that he said he saw Kenneka, and I'm assuming Shamaya and Monifa leave the hotel room together. That's not how Shamaya presented this to us. Remember, Shamaya told us that Kenneka was sitting across from him. Somebody kicked her feet. She looked up, realized Kenneka wasn't there. She asked Irene, "Where's Kenneka?" She said, "Oh, her and Monifa just left." So they left out prior to, or just Monifa and Kenneka, and then Shamaya followed.
There you go.
I mean, something's not right with that.
There you go. And then Monifa turned around and switched that to say they both went.
So I want to read this next part because I never caught this and never paid attention because it could mean two things. He said he advised they walked through his dice game. He couldn't recall if they came back again or why, because he wasn't paying attention to them. So, two things I want to point out. Came back.
Yeah.
Did he mean came back in or came back to that room? Because you know what I'm saying? We don't know. We can go by what was stated. They went out in the hallway and Kenneka sat on the ground with her knees up to her chest. But he said he couldn't recall if they came back because he wasn't paying attention. But if they walked through your dice game, you know if they came back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then you have to understand too, around this time, this has to be when Irene is telling us that Kenneka was laying across the bed and Monifa picked her up and took her out the room. This has to be during the dice game? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can put two and two together at that time because obviously
you would have to. That's when they left out.
There you go.
I mean, as far as what we were told, that's when they left.
Yeah, that
he's telling us that when they left, they stepped through his dice game. And that goes back to me questioning where the hell he was playing dice, because we're automatically assuming that he's saying 926, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, they could have been playing in front of 924.
And
they
and
could
that
have been
goes
playing somewhere near the elevator. They could have been
Absolutely.
playing anywhere outside the room, which says to me they were outside the room.
Right.
They weren't in the room according to Ty's Live because we don't see these fellas in there.
And that goes back to what time Kenneka could have possibly left the room. You know, because I'm one who believes that she came up missing before 2:00.
Yeah. Now Irene in her statement says two something, around 2, after 2 something. Once again, when Irene pointed that out, it brought me to that 224 video that the news media released, the very first one. You will see and you'll find it, and you can find it with one timestamp over to the right. Only one, nothing else. There's no Windows Media Player, nothing. And it looks like, according to what I had seen, and Mr. Jackie Dragon and I think Humongous D had defined, is that may have been a type of AVI formatted video. One timestamp is all you see, nothing else. And I've always started my investigation on this particular case off of just that timestamp before everything else got screwed up. Now they come back, they make copies. Now you got a Windows Media Player with double timestamp. You got all of what confused this case after that point.
Right.
And so I tried to eliminate that point, follow that timestamp and that timestamp only. And guess what we saw? We saw double timestamps with the original 224 timestamp to the left and then the 324 timestamp to the right. And I'm going, they got to be kidding me. They got to be kidding me. Now they're going to push it up an hour to match what? What is the hour all about?
And see, and then understand this. It goes back to when I think about Irene's, when she went on her little rant. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the things she said, she was like, it was almost 3:00. She was like, at that point, Kenneka had been missing for almost 2 hours. That goes back to 1:00. Right. Now, is she just mistaken? Or, I mean, what do y'all think? Think about that.
Or it could have been from the time she left. Now, what time did she leave?
Ooh. You know what you think about that?
We took a look back at that clip when her and her party left. It was about 4:38, 4:36 in that ballpark. Go 2 hours up. We come to that 2:00 mark.
That's what I'm saying. I think she was out that room, but not necessarily roaming the halls. Maybe she was in another room. You know, like she was somewhere else. And before we go too far past this time, and most of y'all who've been riding with me for a minute, y'all know I've always took issue with that text from between Kenneka and I believe it was Shamaya, where it was like, I'm ready to go. It's like, I'm ready to go. And then about like 30, 40 minutes later, Shamaya texts back, like, I told you his dick was little. I was like, wait, what? Wait a minute.
You gotta find these little dick motherfuckers.
I said, we gotta find this little dick nigga. You understand what I'm saying? We need to know who this is. I want to know who this is. Right. But it made me feel like at that moment, Kenneka was not with them. That response seemed so random. And I'm standing on that.
Right.
It was too random for me. So I don't necessarily think Kenneka may have been missing around 1, because understand this, Irene told us that they didn't take Monifa serious because she kept partying. So you done came back in, told them your friend was missing, and you still turned. You were in the party still, probably drinking, smoking. So that's why they didn't take her serious. So It makes me feel like they knew at that moment where she was. She just wasn't with them.
And this is what Monifa has not told anybody since then. Right. Because she won't admit it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you
not admit it. She's stuck in that box. And I said, as long as she's stuck in that box until she says otherwise, she will remain in that box until this case has been resolved on a civil trial, which is going on right now. And if Teresa Martin decides to turn around with the win she is going to make in the civil trial and turn around and do an independent investigation on her own and find out otherwise, she was pretty upset with Monifa, didn't call her by name, but she knew who Kenneka left with when they left that night for the party.
Right. And then April Smith, she brings up a point, and it's crazy because this is one of them details that I caught when she said in Irene's live, where's she at? Okay, in Irene's live, Bree called somebody Rick Ross looking ass. I've been trying to see who looked like that on the footage. Let me tell you something. When you listen to that background, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I know a lot of us went back and forth with whether or not Bree was like, they in there raping that girl, or they down there doing this to that girl, whatever. Or we got 2 girls, and y'all know what part of the video I'm talking about. When it's right behind what I thought she said, they down there raping that girl, and then she said something like, with his Rick Ross looking ass. That came behind it. And that bothers me because it was one of them details like, who looked like Rick Ross? It was like she was describing somebody that was with Kenneka. That's what that made me feel like. I'm just saying that, that was just my opinion. Lovely, right. You're right. Miss Teresa said Kenneka was missing when that text came in.
Yeah,
Miss Teresa said that.
She did. It was on a post on a matter of fact, I think a community wall or something like that.
You sound like you don't believe her.
I don't. not that I don't believe her. I think she's going by something else, man. Because like if she was, matter of fact, let's just read this because I'm glad you actually brought this up. I just want to start with the time that Shamaya said they got there. Of course, you said it says 1 o'clock. I only highlighted that to go to this right here. She stated, approximately after 2 hours of being at the party, she received the text from Kenneka stating she was ready to leave.
See?
What time does that give you?
See?
3 o'clock. That ain't that can't be right.
Oh man.
That can't be right.
Can't be.
Can't be. Because we got the text. Oh, I think I got it. The text message thread, because you know that go by what, the UPC time? And that time went to what?
120? Yep. That's right, Jackie Dragon. 120.
Yeah.
And she said that they had been at the party 2 hours prior to that. Really?
So how is that possible?
See? That's one of them details that threw us.
Yeah.
For real. Threw
That
us.
don't
It
work.
divided us. You know, it don't work. It does not work.
Yep.
But
let me ask you this real quick. Do you think she said that? Or is that what they put in that goddamn statement?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know if they altered the statement.
That don't make sense.
And didn't correct it. You know? It don't add up.
Yeah, it does.
Jackie Dragon, right. It would make it at about 11 o'clock. They was at the party. According to this statement right here, the way it reads.
Correct.
Right. Correct. And I think Jackie Dragon did a video about something similar to that too.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Because it was one of them details that, you know, when you look at all of this together, you know, like I said, some people was just going off the footage. So I'm arguing with people like, you know, they came in at 1:13 and that was it. But when you start to add these other details, you have to look at it as a whole. You have to. And as a whole, it don't look like they got there at no 1:13. Not to me. That's just my opinion. You know.
Exactly.
You know, that's just my opinion.
For this statement, she stated that Kenneka herself and Monifa got up and was walking out the room. But we know what was said. They said Monifa got Kenneka up and took her out the room.
Yeah.
And on her live, she said somebody kicked her foot.
Yep, that's right.
And she realized that they was gone.
Yep.
But
and my thing is this: if this girl was sitting right across from you, like again, those rooms are not that big. So if this girl is sitting right next to you, you mean to tell me you ain't realized they done took her out of the room? Really?
Right.
Really? It don't make sense.
Yeah, especially if she was sitting at the edge of the bed, because she was sitting at the edge of the bed with the foot of the bed, excuse me. There's no way they could have walked past you and you didn't see them.
And you didn't see them.
But yeah, if you go back to Ty's live, we see her at the foot of the bed.
Foot of the bed.
Sitting right there. And there's no way that anyone couldn't pass you to go to the bathroom and you can't see them.
Especially if Kenneka was stumbling.
Exactly.
So then it's why lie? You understand what I'm saying? Why lie? Lie for what?
We know Shamaya lied several times in here because her mom was at the interview with her when she was being
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where we was about to go there. So you might as well scroll on up.
She was
scroll on up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get to it. Yeah. Yeah. Start at the very top.
All right.
Up here.
Let me ask the chat.
I know where you want to go at now. I know where you want to go.
You already know where I want to go.
Yeah, you know.
This is the problem.
I wanted to
wait a minute. It was one of them moments like, wait a minute.
I wanted to ask the chat something real quick. How many of you guys are enjoying the roundtable tonight? Type of 1.
Appreciate you.
Go ahead and type of 1.
And I always like to say, if we don't get to your comment, hey, it's a lot of y'all in here, and the comments go by fast.
Yes,
we're not ignoring you. I promise you that. I promise you that.
All right, the ones are coming up. Boom.
Jawan, I'm gonna check for it. I'm about to do it right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Just taking a look, revisiting some of the most important information regarding this case. and really fine-tuning a timeline, because that, like Boss said in the beginning, is what this case really consists of. Understanding that helps us to understand a lot of behavioral actions that took place within the body of the timeline. And there are certain documents, not all of them, unfortunately, but certain documents that will help us to fine-tune the timeline. And it's based on certain statements, not only from the partygoers, but other statements pertaining to non-partygoers, how management handled their end of the activities of that early morning when Kenneka went missing, as well as employees, staff members, you name it. And this is how we're covering a very unique look at this case, and coming at it from a different angle, mind you, because the timeline is what's been critical of this case since day one. It's just been hard individually, and I can speak for myself, individually to cover a specific timeline and follow this case without being thrown off in some way, shape, or form, because you're looking at a lot of moving parts.
Right. And that's
Thank you.
why, to me, it was important to come together as a community.
Yes.
One person can't do it. One person couldn't. I mean, because it was so messed up, one person couldn't pull this off. We had to
Right.
do this as a unit.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and I'll control the screen. You just tell the people what you want to bring to their attention, because you caught this. You caught this.
So
Oh,
this is Shamaya's statement, and at the top you see where it says interview 9/10/2017 at 4:45 hours, which is 4:45 in the morning. But when you get into the body of this statement, it says on 9/9, Detective Ruschenfecker and Coletso, they met with Shamaya at her residence at the listed location at 4:15. And then they took her and her mother, back to the Rosemont police station for an interview. Notice that they put on 9/9 at 4:15 in the morning. Now we all know where they was at 9/9 at 4:14 in the morning. They were still at the hotel.
Correct.
They were still at the hotel. So this was one of them things where I was like, who entered this?
Yeah.
Who they messed up a detail, and it's a detail that has been given to us to go off of. Right. It's in the file, but they clearly screwed this up, or did they? Because that was one of the things we kind of went back and forth about. Was on 9/9 at 4:15 in the morning, was Shamaya at the police station? Her and her mama.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand, in this statement, she talking about she wasn't drinking, no smoking, she wasn't doing nothing. But you got to understand, she in front of her mama. What y'all thought she was gonna tell us in front of her mama?
That sure wasn't gonna be the truth. She was the youngest out the bunch.
Yes. Out of the girls, yep.
So this is one of them details that if we go with the footage that they gave us, we know Shamaya is still at the hotel at 4:15 in the morning. So that was a detail they screwed up.
Now we could say they made a mistake because they said the interview started at 4:45 on the 10th. And here it says 9/9, they picked them up at 4:15. So you would think, okay, it took them 30 minutes to get there and get settled in to start the interview. But it still is something that was screwed up in the statement.
Yeah.
It's I don't care how you look at it.
It's in the case file now.
Yeah, it's an error, period. Yeah. And they didn't clear it up. So my thing is this: what else is wrong?
Exactly.
What else is screwed up in these statements that they failed to correct? That's a problem.
It's also in the court right
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
You see, as a major inconsistency of police reporting based on dates, and hence the reason for us covering the timeline, going over this thoroughly once again. Look at look at what you just found out.
Yeah. Jackie Dragon said
That's
Rooster
major.
took the photo of the wrong cooler gauge. That says a lot. Yeah. Yeah. They messed this case up. And these are they screwed with the details. But you have to understand, again, we're all looking at the same thing. And so everybody's coming to their own conclusions. And these are some of the things that you can't overlook. You can't overlook this. And again, they failed to correct it.
Correct.
That's the point. That is the point. And failing not to correct just a date or a time or a word or using a word that doesn't belong where it should, called approximately rather more so than an exact time, begins to mess with narratives because it's under the interpretation of the individual, the police officer in this case, taking and recording what someone else is saying as a narrative and not a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would cause errors like this.
Correct.
Now here we are, 5 years later.
All right, so we had
because they didn't expect us.
They didn't.
They did not expect folks like ourselves to pick up on this case, read narratives to try to understand them, look at pictures that are hard to look at, and look at video surveillance footage that they broke up into 4,024 pieces on a website and say, there's the case. And you have to say, why is that the only, if y'all are doing that kind of shit, why is Kenneka's case the only case on your website? Don't y'all have more?
Right.
As a death investigation or something like that, only to prove that there was a FOIA request that was filed.
Right.
And thanks to the public, it forced them to reveal a lot. And what we're about to get into right now, I want you to grab a hold of something.
Let's talk about it.
I want y'all to grab a hold of something.
Let's talk about it.
This is a critical part of the findings at what we're looking at. I want to compliment Mr. Jackie Dragon, Humongous D, for their work and effort in putting together a lot of the details. Details is what 54 Keys mentioned. We got a lot of shit here, but it's got to be put together. It's got to be logically connected.
Because what I understood was that the devil is in the details.
Yes.
So you have to pick it apart. I don't care how small it is. That's just like when we went back to, the way people, and I know we discussed this before, where people was like, oh, I seen her drinking out the bottle. I seen her she had a cup. And it was like, well, wait a minute.
There was a bottle.
Wait a minute. She's the driver. So where did y'all see her drinking out the bottle? And again, that goes back to me thinking there's another room. Because like I said, we had some people in their statements, they like, look, she only had one cup. Then we got some guys like, oh, she was drinking out the bottle. Like now she turned. But she the driver.
Right.
You can't overlook that detail. She's the driver. And some people saw her claiming that they saw her drinking out the bottle.
I'm glad you brought that up. I am so glad you brought that up. How many of y'all think that there was one bottle of Hennessy in that room?
Oh, hell no. All my fault. My fault.
Type of one. How many of y'all think that there was one bottle of Hennessy in that room? Tall bottle. The big one. Type of one. Let's see what happens. According to the story that you have heard, there was a bottle of Hennessy.
Right.
But how many of y'all think that there was just one bottle of Hennessy?
I don't think it. And then somebody, I forgot whose statement said that she was drinking from the bottle with a handle on it. I was like, wait, because I drink Henny, okay? And I buy big bottles. I've never seen a bottle of Hennessy with a handle on that before.
Right.
Not a one.
thing. Not a such thing. That's my favorite drink, so I know it ain't.
Not a one, you know. So that just confused me, and it just made me feel like people were seeing her or witnessing her in separate areas,
Right.
if that makes sense, you know.
Mhm. And if you said no, you're correct. If you said no, you're correct.
I believe somebody else said they bought a bottle too.
April, you silly. April said that's just like saying it was one X pill and everybody split it.
True.
True. I'm with that. True. That's true. And then my thing is this one bottle, and y'all telling me she's drinking out the bottle. I don't ride like that.
Mm-mm.
I ain't sharing nothing and you drinking out the bottle, and I'm talking about let me get some. No.
But
No.
if that bottle she was drinking out of was the one they bought, then I understand why she did it. But I think somebody else, which I believe
She wasn't drinking out no bottle.
I don't think she was, but I'm saying if she did,
I don't
it
believe
would
that.
be that one. Yeah, I don't think she was either because she had a cup in her damn hand.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love
You
me
are
some
correct.
Hennessy,
If
man.
the answer is no, you are correct.
Tim
Because another bottle came when Ty showed up with his group. They
said this was before COVID.
yeah.
I don't know. For me, it was if you drinking out the bottle, like if I'm with boss and he drinking out the bottle, I ain't gonna be talking about pour me some. Let me get some of that.
Damn right.
Why ain't you drinking out the bottle? No, I'm cool on that.
Yeah. I don't know how you
I
who
don't know
you
what
been
you
with.
putting in, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going
I know what you
on.
was doing before you got here, man.
You know what I mean? I don't know what you be doing. That's just it.
Yeah. All right, so y'all wondering why we got this picture up here.
Mhm.
This is one of the last things that we talked about last night. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know we're getting close to 2.5, but I definitely want to go over this.
Yes.
I was just happened to be, laying in my bed, and I forgot I had OneDrive, which is where all my stuff is located, on my phone. So, I would start looking at some of the pictures, and I actually happened to scroll up, and I didn't scroll the right direction, and it pulled up the information from the pictures, like what kind of camera was used, the time it was taken, when it was modified, all that type of stuff like that. So I happened to look at the date, and it had this shit might be accurate because it says here date taken. Let me see if it won't let me highlight it. But if you look on the right hand side, right here where my mouse is, it says 9/10/2017. 12/15.
Mm.
All right. So I'm thinking like, okay, were they taking pictures before they fucking found Kenneka?
Yeah,
So I'm
because
thinking
they didn't find it till what, like 12/24, 12/25?
12/26 to be exact.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. So
So
these
this don't make sense.
This would be considered the metadata detail portion of the photograph that was taken by police.
Right.
Yeah.
So this comes from the case file. So this is actually from the camera that they use, not a screenshot. Because if you do a screenshot, it's going to tell you the time you took that damn screenshot, and it's going to tell you it's a
It's going
screenshot.
to change it. Mm-hmm.
right.
So
I went as far as looking up the Nikon D200 just to see how because I fool with DSLR cameras. So with that camera, you can set the time. So I feel like, and John, you brought this up and made a good point. Before they took these pictures, if the time was incorrect on the camera, that should have been checked before you started taking pictures.
Correct.
Because now look at us. Look where we at with this. And this
Yep.
is another discrepancy.
Yep.
The timestamps on these pictures. And then another thing I got a problem with is the fact that they started back here at the associate entrance.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see them putting these pictures in the file if this didn't mean something.
Yeah, this is right.
That's why I think something happened in that parking lot in the back.
This is by that kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Gone through them photos.
Yeah, this would be considered
This
the
is
employee entrance from the back. Yeah.
right, and this is the path that they followed going in. So you see where they at right now.
So look at the times. So this one says 12/16. Go back, and now you see they're getting closer and closer to this kitchen.
Yep, they going
This
to
one
the kitchen.
12/17. This one says 12/18.
Now, do me a favor, boss. Before you move, brother, go down to the modified date. Right there. What does it say? 12/31, 2021 is 6:50 a.m. What does that mean? Making changes.
These are redacted. See here? Right here it states.
There it is. When they began to redact the photos at that time. And that's critical because it gives us the point of origination, which boss is going over right now. And it gives us a point of change or modification, the redaction process.
Popcorn butter. Yeah. I'm with you on this. I don't know if it's a guy or girl. But popcorn butter, see, she said, or he or she says, maybe that's the dice game entrance. Because at first they said they left Kenneka outside. And y'all have to understand, Miss Teresa even said that her daughter made it outside. And then my question was, outside where? And then to see these photos that we're looking at right now, the police decided to start their photos going into that employee entrance, which is where the employee parking is.
Yep.
On the backside of their hotel. So, yeah, by the dock.
So as we're getting closer to the kitchen, here we at 12/18. Remember what time they found her now? Supposedly 26. I'm pretty sure it's 26. We'll pull that footage up.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're doing good, bro.
You're
doing good, bro.
Here we go. As you can see, you can tell this is the order that these pictures were taken.
Correct.
Right. They're in order. And they started in the back. Period. Right. They started in the back.
This is where some bullshit. This is some fuckery. Mm-hmm. Here it is. The picture was taken 12/18.
And what date was it modified?
12/31.
Same date.
All right. So as you can see, that freezer door is open.
Show is. Show is.
It's open now. Okay, let's continue. Now we're at 12/18 now. That's a dark picture, but we're at 12/19.
Mm-hmm.
What is this telling y'all? What is this telling? Who opened this freezer and put this shit right here?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Y'all want us to believe that she was found at 12/26.
Right.
Now, remember, and I don't know why Miss Teresa said it, but y'all remember, I think she put it on Facebook saying, y'all found my daughter on the 9th, not the 10th.
See?
Y'all remember that?
See?
So we might have looked like, but that ain't what the camera said. Right. Now you see where the confusion happens. Let's continue.
Right.
And then not only that, and I don't know if y'all remember this, but I remember there being like some footage that we were shown of Miss Teresa and them running out of that conference room at like 11 something. And we was like, wait, what? Like, so I don't know if somebody screwed with the footage or if this was, I can't remember, but I remember there was a discrepancy in that time. Like she came out, like how we saw her, I think it was like 5 in the morning or something like that. Or maybe, no, it was like 1 something, wasn't it? When she came running out of the conference room. And one of the footage, it was like 11. And we couldn't understand, like, why y'all put this out? Who is this? Mm-hmm. What is this?
Okay, the first picture we see.
Okay,
Kenneka. And I ain't gonna go no farther than that. But
what time?
12:21.
See
there?
See what I'm talking about? There. That's what my grandma say. See there? See what I'm talking about?
How could you take a picture? And it all goes to say, how could you take a picture of something that didn't exist before you found it?
Right. And my thing is this, whoever it was taking the pictures, and I know, John, you called him by name. Whoever was taking the pictures, he should have checked to make sure that the time was correct on the camera.
The equipment, right.
If that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like they fudged up is what they did.
And the
So
one that was responsible for covering this photo sequence was PSO Rose, who signed in during the search party as a police officer, signed out, and we're going to get into our next segment. Signed out and then signed back in as a photo technician. We're going to get further into a lot of details pertaining to the freezer compartment, the cooler, how they were able to process this whole entire. To me, to this day, it's a crime scene. Everything. And everything that you're about to see going forward will say the same thing. And this is how they treated it. It should have been treated as a crime scene, but what you'll see is something different.
So that and the reason why I wanted to make sure I hit that, because y'all know, like I stated earlier, I went with the 3:25 time that she got off the elevator.
Right.
Now, if his time on his camera was right, and that's what time they started taking pictures, then that, to me, I would have to go a whole hour up. You know what I'm saying?
Boss, you got the footage. Let's give them a glimpse of PSO Rose taking pictures and what time he took those pictures. Just give them a little taste.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, bring that up.
Because we looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah, bring it up. Give them a little taste, because you've got to see this for yourself.
Absolutely, hot chocolate. A
You have
sloppy
to
cover
see
up.
this for yourself. Now that you know, according to the metadata from the photos, it says a specific time. That specific time tells us that they were taking pictures of the crime scene well before they found Kenneka.
Exactly, and
Right.
that don't make sense.
Hence, we have to match it up with what time did this guy walk through there and start taking pictures. So hence the reason why we're bringing it up right now.
Anthony said, "Do you think the kitchen was the crime scene?" I don't. I can't tell you exactly where, but I don't think it was there. I don't. And then, like I said, it goes back to I'm never gonna forget the detail of her lawyer holding up a different freezer door. Like, I can't let that go. I don't think,
Yeah.
I feel like she was moved to that area.
Ooh.
Who moved her? Can't even tell you. Can't even tell you. But something's not right with this. But I don't believe that was the crime scene. No, not me. I don't.
Definitely. Well, I mean, part of it that should have been treated as such, this not being the target area of a crime, I get what 54 is talking about. So now here we have the
You was right.
food and beverage manager coming in there. What time we got?
You're right. You 100% right. It was 12:24. I don't know where the hell I get 12:26 from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew it was like
12:24.
It was around there. It was approximate. You gave an approximate. See,
Yeah.
see the problem with that?
There you go.
See the problem with that? Yeah.
There you go.
I
8
just want to show you.
seconds. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. According to this footage, 8 seconds. Play it again. One
He
more
knew
again.
she was in there. I don't care what nobody say. He knew she was in there.
Camera's on before any kind of movement enters into this area. Boom. Now we get the red boxes. He goes directly and opens the door.
Joanna, I agree. And I know we didn't show the photo in here, but John, he even made reference to that, how she was laying in the freezer. It looked, the back part of her portion, the back portion of her jacket looked lifted, like somebody had her up under her arms.
Right.
It looked like that. To me, she was placed in there.
All right, so
And he knew this, he knew where she was.
Yep.
Freeze
What?
it. Freeze it.
Oh shit.
Got it? Okay.
Let me go back.
Okay. Do it again until he moves out of frame. Let him go out of frame.
Shit. Hold on.
No, you got it. I think you're working it. Take your time. Take your time. Let's see him leave.
Valerie, I agree.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 seconds.
Yeah.
Thereabout.
Mm-hmm.
They come back.
So the camera should have shut off. If they're going by that
Is
10
it
second.
motion? Well, yeah.
Motion detector was off.
Motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they're motion censored. According to Humongous D, once there is no motion in a camera frame, you have a 10-second idle and then it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a 10-second idle going into the next frame. So this was well over a 10-second mark.
Yep. Which tells me that the Detective Walsh, he was right there. But understand this, in this guy's witness statement, he said that Walsh was near the dock. He was right there.
Yeah.
And then in the first statement, remember, he was like, "Oh, I thought they was behind me. I thought the police was behind me." Then in the second one, he like, "Oh, I had to go get him." Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
The
you
truth don't change.
did a good job on that one because it made absolute good sense.
And that, like I said, that detective, he was right there.
And there was only 2 people that were interviewed twice based upon the activities that happened
Mm-hmm.
in the hotel.
Security, absolutely.
One was
Absolutely.
security and one was the hotel
So-
food and beverage manager.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mhm.
Only 2.
Only 2.
But then you have to understand there was some people who should have been interviewed that wasn't. To see that front desk.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let
Listen,
it go.
to see that front desk guy interacting with these kids, he should have had a statement. He interacted with the party. We didn't get anything from him.
Did y'all see
And
that
it's
camera
another
flash?
guy. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, boss.
No, my fault. Thought
No,
you
you
was
good,
done.
baby.
Y'all see that first camera flash? So look at the time frame. Look at the time that's on the clock. Because we got the pictures where he's taking them at. We have them. We haven't got to them yet, but we have the data of what time he took these pictures. Now look at the time that it says on the clock, and remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Right now he's taking pictures in the 245 range, 246. I'm gonna pause it to when he gets to, I believe, this one right here.
Because I was
Remember
about to
this?
say it didn't go. Absolutely. Remember this time right here.
246. Now I'm gonna pause that right there. Remember where he's
Yep.
at. Now let's go back.
246 on the clock, folks.
Give me a
Yeah,
second.
Rose pointing, which would be considered north of the south west kitchen on the main level, which would be the kosher kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
He's pointing back at R96 in that area. When I say R96, that's a freezer in that area, that corner section.
Let's see if I can find these. I should have labeled them. I damn sure should have.
So now his pictures on video that you just saw, we're going to match up.
We definitely want to see that.
No, I don't like them. I
Yeah,
don't like those photos, man.
Trying to get to
they're
those.
bad. That's why y'all left that part to me. Y'all left the nasty to me. Okay.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
It's hard.
so
It's
sorry.
hard, but
It's hard to look at those photos.
we'll be able to walk through that.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now we're getting close to where I need to be at.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going the wrong
Yeah,
way.
just take your time and walk through. Let the folks see all the pictures according to the grid that he walked that morning, taking photographs
Okay, that's 12,
of the area.
13. So I know I need to go at. I'm trying to skip over those Kenneka pictures because that's what's coming up next.
Yeah, if you can. If you can.
Matter of fact, let me just stop sharing my screen until I find it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say,
Please and thank
I was
you.
about to say, yeah,
Yeah,
because the next
those
segment
pictures
is
bother
going
me.
to be a hard one to get through. But according to photographs and surveillance, at the same time, combining them to make sure that everything is tight in this timeline. That's the whole thing.
And Joanna said, "Don't forget about the Starbucks coffee cup that was on the
Yeah,
counter."
which
I got
never
a problem
moved.
with that cup because they
Yeah,
never took it, and it makes me wonder if it was actually there. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Like,
Was there on
was it
on
really
August
there?
30th, for Christ's sake.
Mm,
So it makes us think between August 30th up until Kenneka entered that kitchen, that's a 10-day lapse.
yeah,
You mean to tell me that security never checked that area? And when I went back to the documents, it was only a requested portion of the last time someone was in that area. The hotel gave them the 30th now.
yeah. And
However, the maintenance guy that went in there to check the thermometers and temperatures of the freezers said that there was construction there for the last 2 weeks.
right, and that cup was still sitting there.
Yes.
So, in
If
my
it,
opinion, if I'm a detective and I walk into this area where a young lady has been found in the freezer, and there's not much in there, we see it, but the stuff that's in there should have stood out, like the cup.
yeah,
I would have wanted that cup. So then you have to ask the question, why the hell didn't they take it? And so when I think about like the footage being overlaid, and then Jackie did a video, yeah, we might get into that probably in the next roundtable, but is this the kitchen? Was this overlaid? Like, it just makes you question a lot of the footage.
yeah,
Right.
Shrinking,
All right.
yep, sloppy job. It was.
All right. So
very
this,
messy. Yeah,
so this is the picture that he just took. Remember, it was what, 246?
Yep.
246.
Yep. Look at that. That was the same
How
photo he just took.
how in the world is that possible? 47 minutes at best, 50
And right.
top. Hmm.
And then when we were talking about the time on the left, the time on the right, and I know when we when we talked about this last night, it was like, even if it's saying 246 on the right hand side, my mind would take me to 146 on the left because of how everything else was playing out. But that still don't match up to this.
It doesn't. And yeah, because if we was to
It's still
say,
off.
if we was going, yeah, if we was going that, what it was, 246, then it would be
Yeah,
146. But 146 damn sure is closer to goddamn 158 than
Yeah,
256.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's why I say I always keep an open mind, even though I was with the 325 times that she got out the elevator and
Hmm.
50 stand strong on what she believed. Now I'm looking like, man, look here, I don't know, now shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's why you can't ever be closed minded and say, "Oh, you wrong," because I mean the case ain't been solved or they closed it. So you know,
right.
it's too much that just ain't right about this case, and we all can see that.
Yeah.
right.
It was clear to everybody. It was clear.
Yeah. Now we're beginning to find out why they closed this case as quickly as they did and wanted this case off their desk. And they did not think that there were going to be requests based on the Freedom of Information Act being filed to check this case out, to look at all of what happened that night into the morning, all the way up until police found Kenneka. They did
Yeah.
not expect anyone to go through the case file. the redacted portion of what they made public. A lot of content creators, including myself, have covered the information on the redacted files. However, these files are not redacted in court. Teresa Martin and her attorneys have the unredacted files in court, and she has identified the person that's walking through the hallways, entered the hotel. Everything is her daughter.
Right.
If
Now
you
let
know,
me ask
Now,
you this.
because if that weren't true, she would have made a comment to that already
Mm,
from the
you know,
beginning.
I
From the
agree.
beginning, yeah.
I agree.
we need a
So let
private
me go ahead. I'm sorry, boss.
No, I was telling you can go, but I was telling you make sure you look at
Oh,
that private chat. Private chat.
oh, okay. So it okay. So when it comes to the civil suit, now wouldn't there be like depositions of the people that are involved? So
Correct.
would there be so what I'm asking, I guess what I'm getting at is should there be a separate statement?
Yes,
It will be, and that's I think Jackie Dragon put that in the chat. Not, yeah, he did. He was like, then they will have to be up under oath. Then
that's correct.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
correct.
And I feel like that's why we're going to get more details. We just have to wait. And I know it's been a long time. I get it. I've been waiting with y'all. We've been riding together. But I think we're going to get more details with this civil suit. I truly believe that.
I
Yeah.
believe that too, 100%.
And the only reason why is because when you're dealing with a civil suit that has multiple parties involved,
Mm-hmm.
multiple attorneys, multiple people to respond to subpoenas, it's going to take a while. We're talking about the hotel in and of itself and their responsibility and negligence for not stopping what could have been stopped the second time they had to go to room 926 by security. They could have called the police. Police could have cleared them out. Guess what? Kenneka would be home, and we would not be talking about this damn story. Period. 2, security's negligence. As we saw, this guy, Franz Cave, I believe he's got intimate, guilty knowledge of the connection that happened that night based upon the number of complaints that was made to room 926. Okay. And what he failed to do, allowing the smoking and the noise and all this partying to go on, and failed to call or notify management of a 911 call based upon irregular activity at the hotel, illegal activity at the hotel. His job is to protect the hotel's interest, reduce their liability regarding safety violations. Come on. He failed to do that. The front
Right.
desk guy and his negligence, giving out and accepting, one, a fraudulent credit card that was declined, as we talked about tonight, but more or less the second clerk that night into the early morning, just giving out validated parking tickets just to get rid of the crew from the complaints of the building. That's the way they decided to handle it rather than respond and call 911 and clear the room out. Kenneka would still be alive. They failed to do that. When
Absolutely.
Teresa Martin showed up, and now we do have the proper time, and thanks to Mr. Boss Blake and 54 Keys, I'm telling you, for pointing this out, we found out it wasn't a little after 7 that Teresa Martin showed up at the hotel. It was actually 6:46, 6:47
Yep.
at the
Right.
hotel, making inquiries about her daughter. And to see her in that video footage, standing there by herself, without Monifa, Shemaya, Bree, Irene, or anybody else from that party, knowing Kenneka went missing and she had to go from ground zero to try to deal with these people at the hotel and how they treated her.
Mr. Risa should have made them girls ride back up there with her.
Yeah.
I agree.
They should have wrote. Listen, if and like I said, I'm not knocking what she did. All she knew was that they telling her they can't find her daughter.
Yeah.
But if it was me, ain't nobody going nowhere. We going back up to this hotel. We are. Not just me. We. But she dropped them girls off. And then the next day, well, later on that day, that evening, they still didn't show back up there. Irene did. But we still didn't see Monifa or Shamaya.
Accompany Teresa back to the hotel
Right.
and say, hey, that's the front desk person that we talked to. Here's security that we talked to. The security personnel that worked that night was going back and forth, passing that whole conversation during the same time Teresa Martin was there. Didn't say a freaking word. Yet they're talking to the front desk. There was Resco, I think it was there at that time. You know, here's a woman making a complaint that her daughter is missing, trying to show them pictures on her phone what her daughter looks like. And these people are just walking right by Teresa Martin, not engaging in a conversation called a missing person on their property. Hence, we have the lawsuit against Crown Plaza.
And you should show that, boss, because that bothers me too. When Mr.
It hurts.
Up there,
It really, you know, it bothered me to hell. I mean, it took me some time to go to sleep. You know, just seeing her by herself at ground zero and no one, party members or anybody there to assist her,
right?
Other than the woman that caught I guess an earshot conversation about.
I don't believe that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Now, once again, I'll go back to say, you know, does she have an employee badge? Is she part of the hotel? Why is she the one taking Teresa Martin up to the room than security? You see? Security should have been engaged because that's who worked that night. That's who she asked to show the cameras. You know, can we see the cameras? Who's in charge of that? Security. But he walks back and forth right by the conversation like, you know.
Right.
It was nothing.
Tangi says she don't believe Miss Teresa trusted them. I agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I do. I agree with that.
I wouldn't either.
I could see that. You know.
Here she go.
And this is a very hard part. As you can see, boss is showing it now.
Yeah, so she's coming up through.
Very hard part to look at.
It is, man.
She's by herself. There's no James Coleman with her. There's no Monifa. There's no Shamaya, Bree, Irene, Lenore, anybody.
Right.
And if you can take a careful look at this video portion, just keep your eye on her. You're the mother of a missing daughter in this establishment, and you're trying to show and talk to hotel management, especially this guy in the white shirt and black trousers, the front desk employee that's standing there listening to this conversation right now. What's going through her mind?
You know?
And all she's asking them is, can we take a look at the cameras in the hotel when my daughter was here to see if we can locate her? That's it.
Right.
That was her plea.
And
now you'll see how they treat her.
This is terrible.
It is. Now, for most of you who have taken a look at this and didn't think twice about it, put yourself in Teresa Martin's shoes right now and watch this footage carefully and the amount of time it takes the hotel to respond to her plea. Can we look at the security cameras to find my daughter?
Right. And I think for me, it's it's disheartening when I hear people say that they feel like Miss Teresa was in on it. Because when I watch this, I'm looking at a mother who's clearly up there trying to figure out where her daughter at. So, she's in her phone, she's about to try to show him some pictures, all that. And I just don't understand. Like I said, I respect everybody's opinion, but I don't get that part.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
why this part of it is important to watch, and I appreciate you bringing that up too. This part of it is important to watch to debunk that shit.
mm.
Teresa Martin is involved in what happened with her daughter.
So she done spoke to them guys. She done went back to the front desk. Mm.
As a mother,
Yeah.
she's there to find out what happened to her daughter. Now, here comes this guy with the black jacket. He goes into the office. There's the walkie-talkie. Everybody's bypassing this area. He's listening to this conversation right now. Teresa's at the desk once again, pleading, can I talk to someone regarding the security cameras?
Now let me ask you this. What time was that? I can't remember right off top. What time was the 911 call that she made? Wasn't it like 7:10? I kept saying 7:10, but
Now, I think it is when she left,
right.
you
I'm just
know,
trying to
I don't think she did it beforehand without checking with the hotel first. I think it was an after the fact kind of thing, after she went through what we're
get
looking at.
a time as far
I
as
would shit, you know. Oh, we can't show the security cameras and all this other stuff. We'd have to talk to management, get authorization, and yada, 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 and all this other roundabout bullshit. And I'm just coming off of my heart right now.
Was that
And
yeah.
that's when she made the 911 call after the
And
fact.
she's standing there. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
in this lobby. She's waiting to speak
to
to
someone.
somebody,
Yeah.
anybody. At this point,
is that Resco or is that Lenny?
where?
The one matter of fact, somebody in the chat said go back a little bit. Probably went back too far. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But the guy, the bald head guy that y'all was just speaking of in the jacket,
Resco. You talking about Resco?
Resco, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, we're gonna be wrapping it up shortly. We try to keep it around 3 hours and under. But we
Yeah, we
definitely
will definitely be picking this part up back when we go to the round tables.
right here. That's what.
Him. Yeah, him.
Yep. He walk into hotels. He gets a radio call. Come to the office. He's aware that this woman is looking for her child, and we see what he does.
Yeah, and she's waiting. We just seen that maintenance man slide up through there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he got him.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. When I watch this, like it's almost like they're not acknowledging her. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
This it's
I
just
know where
bothering.
you're going. I know where you're going, 54. I feel you right now. Everybody else has got access, and here's this woman looking for a child, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the way she's being treated. And this is the most important part. One of the most important parts of this case is how Teresa Martin is being treated by the hotel here, because she didn't say what she said in her Facebook posts for nothing.
There go old girl right there. There go old girl
There
coming
she
in.
is. There she is. Now she's coming out. And I asked Boss Blake and Miss 54 Keys, as a hotel employee, y'all are supposed to have name tags, identification markers on you, so that this way, if a hotel guest, customer coming into the hotel, can identify who you are to inquire about either reservation, booking the room, and all this other stuff? And the answer is yes. You're supposed to be identified, especially if you're working at a hotel with name tag or a badge of some kind, indicating that you can answer anyone's questions coming in through the front door.
Look at her. Like, why did she come down here? She stood to the left, and then looked like she started ear hustling. You know what I'm saying? Then she went and stood back there. So right now she's listening to what Miss Teresa is talking about, and it's just like it bothers me. Like, what are you really?
Where did she come from?
Yeah.
It was almost like, was she sent down there? Did she know Miss Teresa was coming? Because if you watch her, she's acting like she minding her own business. We see you.
Right.
She acting like she's minding her own business.
No, waiting her turn.
But
like she's waiting her turn.
So she's claiming at this moment to overhear Miss Teresa talking about her daughter. Watch her. Watch her.
Yeah, she's trying.
It's almost like what she sent to her.
She never did nothing down here but talk to Teresa. That was it.
And that was it.
That
was it.
In a second.
That was it. That's all she did.
Watch. She finna leave with Teresa in a second. What you came down here for?
Mm-hmm. It's April. That's where I'm at with this, April. Like, did somebody send her down there? Like her mama here. You know what I mean? And you done took this yeah.
You see how she wanna leave, but she ain't. She done made a move towards this camera twice and didn't leave. Now she's up here and she's really talking to Teresa.
Yeah, do me a favor, boss. Freeze that right here. Capture this. Look at Resco and the other guy in the white shirt and the black trousers. Totally isolated.
Right.
Away from the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You have a missing person in your hotel establishment, yet you are responsible for the management, security, and personnel. And you are isolated from an emergency in your hotel.
And y'all management.
Yeah.
Y'all are management.
It's clear right here. Right here. We're going to be picking up the next roundtable from this point because we're going to be digging right into the details as to where we go from here and where we find ourselves.
Valerie said it looks like they're discussing something private.
Yeah, very private. Correct.
Yeah.
Good point.
Absolutely. Outside of Miss Teresa and this lady. And like I said, when they get up here, the lady just, I don't know. I don't know. It just don't feel right to me. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it was almost like she went down there to get her, because then what did she tell her? I'll show you where I seen them. She took Miss Teresa to what? The 11th floor? She took Miss Teresa to the 11th floor.
You'd figured she would take it to the 9th floor. There was a party here last night, early this morning, and security just walked right out the door.
Look.
You just saw that.
Did you see? It looked like Miss Teresa was about to leave. Like the lady called her back. Like, no, I could take you where. And then look at Resco in the back.
Yep.
And boss, we can stop it right here.
That's what I was going to do. I got you.
Yeah.
I was going to stop it anyway.
Yeah. And to nail this scene down up until we come back and pick it up right from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're doing on the roundtable. We're looking at this carefully, not coming to conclusions, but carefully looking. We're looking for certain things that we did not see before, and hence we're finding things that we have not seen before. And this is from the case file that was put out there under a FOIA request to put this public. They're starting to shade out a lot of stuff that are giving us new clues,
right?
New answers, new viewpoints, perspectives. And this is the reason. And thank you, 54 Keys, for, coming up with the idea of doing a roundtable, to
Absolutely.
say, it's not just my eyes looking at this. You all got to see this too, kind of
We
idea.
needed this.
Yeah,
We
we
needed
needed
this.
this. Yes.
We needed this. Just to go over the details, and then you have to understand just even some of the details that we've pulled out in this live right here. It because you have people who think different things, but they're looking at the details in ways that's why I said we should come from all angles,
Absolutely.
not just like a tunnel vision. Like this is what it is. That's it. That's all. If you don't believe this, to hell with you. Not
Right.
that. We
Right.
don't need that. We have enough of that. you know but this is definitely what I like to see at the round table. I know Joanna wanted to come up. We kind of ran out of time, but maybe at one point we can do a round table where we're just allowing people to come up, where we're just interacting with the chat, people in the chat,
Yeah, I'm
because
cool.
there's a lot of people who know just as much as we know about this
Yes,
case.
I believe that. Yep. Yep.
And we definitely don't want to leave you guys out. We go by a timeline, and we plan
Mhm.
all this out, and we plan for 2 hours and 30, but we know we're gonna hit 3 every time.
We
Yeah.
did. We did.
Say that, yeah.
So I don't think
Yeah.
nobody that think we ignoring you, because we read the comments either while we live, or we definitely come back and rewatch it and see what you guys say, because you might give us an idea on something we need to focus on. So we definitely appreciate you. Y'all
And
got anything?
everyone that came out to support Boss's channel tonight, pertaining to the roundtable session 2.
Nothing but love, baby.
It's beautiful to see that y'all still are following the case. Just be careful where you're getting your information from. We know that everyone can think with their own mind and their hearts about certain things, especially when you're taking a look at a case like this. Here's where, logic and reason and connecting the details and the dots have to come into play, even though we got
Absolutely.
shoddy information,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we love you guys. My God, there's
We
just so many
riding,
up
baby.
in here
That's
tonight.
right.
Baby.
It's a good feeling when you can come somewhere on neutral ground. It's a safe zone, where you can voice your opinions. We want to hear them. I want to hear them. Because like I said, we all came from different angles of this case, and to me, everybody's voice matters. Not just yours, not just mine, not just Boss, not just John's. Everybody's voice matter. So I don't want it, to be a situation where it's like, oh, well, you don't believe what I believe. To hell with you. Nah, this ain't that. This ain't that.
This ain't that.
Yeah, but let me say this though. If it's ridiculous, and I need to say this, if it's ridiculous and not provable in any way, shape, or form, then it doesn't belong here.
Right.
Period.
Absolutely. I agree.
Period.
I agree
Period.
with that.
I have to say that because there are some ridiculous things that are out there that really tarnish this case. And the opinion based, okay, I got it. But
Right.
if you're trying to convert it into a fact and can't prove it,
That's right.
it's ridiculous and it doesn't belong to the case.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So with that said, I wanted to make a point on that because, we're open to any and all, ideas or suggestions or even theories, however, but if it's ridiculous, we're not touching that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank everybody for coming out.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
we put a lot of preparation into this, and it's just is nothing but love.
Absolutely.
We don't
Yes,
want it one-sided, two-sided, three. We know there's many sides to
many
this,
sides.
and all input is appreciated. I don't care what angle you coming from, and be able to speak your piece without being attacked. I seen somebody put that in the chat. No, we don't want that.
Right.
So yeah, the round table, we making our rounds. We making our
We are.
rounds,
Yes, we
and
are.
we'll be up on John's channel next.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going to be back at the round table again over the next several days to pinpoint what day and time we're going to be picking right where we left off to continue our review of what happened 5 years ago to Kenneka Jenkins at the
Mhm.
Crown Plaza Hotel. This child should not have lost her life that night.
Right.
There are some people responsible for what happened to her. And we're just taking another careful look at who those people may be. Teresa Martin is on a very good path. And if she wins, which I know she will, under a civil trial, she can turn around, form her own private investigation, and go into some people to get the rest of the answers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's important. That's
Yeah.
important.
Most important, yes. So much
Well,
love to everyone. My goodness.
definitely want to thank everybody from John community to 54 community to my community. We are now family. We are now bred as family. So
Family. Yes.
I appreciate everybody for being patient with us. Because like I said, I know a lot of you was dropping comments, questions, but it's kind of tough. You know what I'm saying, with all the comments.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it is.
definitely want to let y'all know that we appreciate you for riding with us, baby. Like 54 people say. Everybody, man, we didn't mention your name. Just know we see you and we love you. Next up will be on John's page.
Can you drop the link to his page, or can you
Yeah.
drop?
And
Yeah.
thank you so much, boss, for taking the time out to get this roundtable live done out of your schedule, as busy as you are. My God. To get this posted right now. And Miss 54 Keys, thank you for your time out of your
Absolutely.
busy schedule.
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah, to do this.
We appreciate y'all.
Oh, yes, we do.
So with that being said, hey, keep riding with us. Hey, because it's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a nice one. But that being said, we're gonna get up out of here, man. One
Much
love.
love.
Be easy. Go ahead and say it, 54. Go ahead.
No, you can.
Yeah, I know you want to say it.
Hi,
We riding, baby.
Please believe it.